and be amazed for those of you government officials. Tell me what you want to tell me. And you think you can be in our midst and be engaged into double standard. I mean, here that look, they are asking you, people telling you they will pay you from now to January. They will pay all your salary. You want to purchase your way to power? Let us know very clearly. Transport Ministry wanted to descend on you, but the chairman said we should disengage. Take note. We are aware of your interactions. If you are a lawyer to habit, if you are a lawyer to certain lifestyle that you cannot afford to to disengage with, on the basis of that, you sit in this government and you begin to assist and facilitate against the interests of this government. Want to say to you, be forewarned. It was so good that the chairman intervened immediately. We were prepared to unmask and shame because it's painful when young people, old people who go on the caution sun and vote for this president and stay bare in mind and remain hopeful. And some of you who accidentally become privileged, accidental privileged characters, we got no issue with you, but we want you to have a conscience of responsibility, and you must be able, you should be able to understand that something got you here. You must be loyal to it. To be in transport ministry and be availing yourself to the detriment of this government, you need to be forewarned. The next time we will not forewarn you. The next time we will not forewarn you. The masses of our people will have a solution for some illnesses. You have to have some medicine for it.
Let me see my wife, let me see my daughter. If I make any crime in country, Liberia, please punish me. I not a problem. But I know why I'm coming there. I am coming there to expose Giah properly. And Giah, this is I'm telling you live. If you are man, just allow me in Liberia. Let you see me on the same media platform, and I will expose you properly how much money you eat from Liberia people. I will expose you.
So somebody is asking on the live, did you bribe to get the Liberian visa to the Liberian embassy in Sierra Leone?
Did you bribe to
you
get
got
the visa?
all? You want to show us your receipts, your payments?
I can show you the
How much
receipt.
did you pay for the visa?
$80, $130, $80, and they give me proper receipt.
So show the receipts on the television.
Yes,
so that
I can.
Let's see your receipt.
Because people want to see.
Yeah.
Because those are the people watching.
Only $130 they charge me. They didn't ask me any $1.
Okay, so for those of you watching here, he said he paid to the Liberian embassy in Sierra Leone, and he got the visa.
$130
official
for his official visa that was cancelled here at the Liberian border, water side.
Yes.
And there's a live coverage on
The woman who give me visa, the number also there.
Yeah.
So
The woman who give me visa, she not ask anything.
Okay.
I just go. She asked me where you will stay. I said
So,
there I will stay.
another question to you, Manoj. You just need to cool yourself because I know you're now stressful. I saw a video where you was in a video where the president was saying thank you to what
Yes.
you people did for the church.
Yes.
What have you to say to the president? Because at times these things are happening. The president and other people in government might not be in the know.
That's I know.
Can you say something to the president?
I believe, Mr. President, I know you are a very good friend for me. But please, through a voice of Liberia, please see what thing is going on with your friend. The same friend who you give thanks in your church. You tell me that, my friend, thank you what you are doing on behalf of Indian community. I, your friend, I'm standing here and I want to see my wife and daughter. Please do not believe Jetty. Jetty eat lot of money in Liberia. And just, Mr. President, give me 10 days. I will expose Jetty. What Jetty is doing, all money for Liberia is not for him. I will prove it.
So, because I want you now, you are done with the president, and you have, is there any issue where the immigration, they've told you about this issue, they continue, denial?
When they cancel your visa, what do they tell you?
No, they just say you are blocked by government. So the Sierra Leone commander also asked same thing. He said, if this man blocked by government, where the order sheet?
Okay.
Then he said, no, I cannot show this and that whatsoever. But he said this man should not enter in Liberia. And my question is this: if even I tell him, I say, my brother, the way
it was the best for the country. And when you fight for your country, and your country deport you or expel you, what can you do? I want the world to know that we did not leave Unity Party. Unity Party left us. They put us out. When you work with a group for 6 years, and at the closing moment they tell you we don't want no collaboration with you, that's the biggest betrayal ever. Then they influence us to start the Democratic Alliance. At the conclusion of the day, they said they didn't need the Democratic Alliance again because there was no confusion in the party. They wanted us to form the Democratic Alliance, so in the instance when things didn't go well for them, in their party they had a fallback position, the Democratic Alliance. They convinced me and Professor Larry Tupac, we were the two founding leaders of the Democratic Alliance. Until today, they have hijacked the documents for the Democratic Alliance along with the money that was sent to America to help open the account for the Democratic Alliance. My people, you know, and what the
you are coming to the U.S. You suck the ambassador. I don't want to go another road like you and say, now he will tell you, you're who that muscle talk. You're talking. Now he will tell you that you're coming to the U.S. You're not supposed to suck the ambassador and you go back. Now he will tell you, no, I will not tell you. No. Now he will tell you. Now he will tell you that you're not supposed to tell the foreign minister girlfriend and prevent the criminal issue, knowing that you're not Thomas Free. Now he will tell you. I will not tell you. Now he will tell you. Now he will tell you that you see that way. There's no know nothing about diplomacy. No foreign policy experience. Because you're not a fool. Now he will tell you. I will not tell you. Now he will tell you. Now he will tell you that your government is weakening day by day. You can't see it. Now he will tell you. I will not tell you. Now he will tell you. Now he will tell you that your people are sent. Ask you to investigate them. After you have told the whole country, you will investigate them. They beg you to investigate them. Now he will tell you to investigate them before you do it now. Now he will tell you. Mr. President, never told you to fire the ambassador 2 days before you arrived. Wanted to make you look awkward. So, whoever you decide now, you see how you take the tips. Because you and I know that the ambassador something will not be alive. You will be over on your own. And the are you coming with? Most of them don't know the US. Now me will tell you. No, I will not tell you. No, now me will tell you. 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 Oh, your way. No, I will not tell you. No, now me will tell you.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon. Let me say welcome to the Diaspora Talk. Today is July 30th, 2023. Very soon will be in October, one of the most anticipated months in Liberia. Let me say welcome to the Diaspora Talk. Today is the 30th of July 2023, and we just have one more day left to step in August. Good morning to you, Abraham Massacre. Good morning. How is the US there? How is Iowa?
Well, the US is great. Am I audible?
You are.
Okay. Yep. The US is great. And again, like I always said, once we have life,
Hmm.
we have to thank the Almighty God for that blessing. So
Yeah.
um, everything on this end is good. And we're up and ready for the diaspora talk this morning.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So how's the weather there, man? It is. We are boiling here, bro. It's extremely hot. Today is one of the hottest day in South Korea. We are approaching almost to 40 degrees Celsius. Very, very, very hot. Even those that have air condition. you have to even add additional fan to the air conditioner because it's not helping you anymore. People have to come out. Said people have to shower more than 2, 3 times. I said, damn, bro.
Well, well, I think today is also a hot day here. Right now, we are at 65. And I think
65. Wow.
at the end of the day, we should be having somewhere around 83 degree. So that's going to be a hot day. So, and I hope not
Yeah.
humid because the sun is one thing, but when it's hot and humid, it's more terrible. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
It's,
a
it's
sunny day and not
hmm
just
yeah.
hot
I
and
don't know. I don't know whether you really experience it. It's like like I told someone, bro, the sun that shines in South Korea, yeah, it's almost like, you can really feel that intensity. You can feel that heat. It will burn you. Like you are just saw the copper or saw some kind of fire, bro. Liberia, it is somehow windy. When the sun shines too much, you start, experiencing that kind of wind, that kind of cold breeze. But here you have all the mountains. South Korea is a mountainous country, so most of the time all the wind, the fresh air are blocked by these skyscrapers and things. And also it's an industrial country, and you see, there are a lot of pollution now in the air. So I think these are some of the things that are really contributing to this. And I think every year people go for the global warming issue, the climate control issue. I think they should really have to look after that how we can really control the climate. Again, I would like to say welcome back to the Diaspora Talk. If you are joining us, I would like to say this is where we discuss issue unbiasedly. We look at issue concerning Liberia, economically, politically, religiously. We unbiasedly discuss them, and we'll be platforming Mr. Rixck W. Barsi Giah. I'm a former deputy minister of technical services from the MOI. Yeah, that's Ministry of Information. He's going to be outlining the strength and the preparation of his United Party within this upcoming election. How prepared are they? So stick and stay. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Today, our moderator is going to be the CEO, Mr. Ibrahim Masakwa. He's going to join you right after this break. Don't go, stick and stay. We'll be right back. This is the Diaspora Talk.
Legitimate financial institutions around the world. Corruption is a social danger because it feeds organized crime. It destroys nation states. It imperils opportunities, particularly for women and girls. It facilitates environmental degradation, contributes to human trafficking, and undermines whole communities. It destroys the future. Corruption is a radicalizer because it destroys faith in legitimate authority. It opens up a vacuum which allows the predators to move in. And no one knows that better than the violent extremist groups who regularly use corruption as a recruitment tool. Corruption is an opportunity destroyer because it discourages honest and accountable investment. It makes businesses more expensive to operate. It drives up the cost of public services for local taxpayers, and it turns a nation's entire budget into a feeding trough for the privileged few. And that is why it is imperative that the business community of the world starts to demand a different standard of behavior, that we deepen the fight against corruption, making it a first-order national security priority.
I'm not, it's sad to say that I'm not a politician. I was brought on board by these people, and the people brought me because they wanted something. You understand? So what we're doing now.
Okay, welcome back to the Diaspora Talk. Today is the 30th of July 2023, and it's going to be a fascinating one. Let me just turn over to our today's moderator, Mr. Ibrahim T. Masakwa. Welcome, brother. What's up? I said.
Yes, thank you, Gabriel. We are awaiting our guests. While we are with the guests, we have a lot of trending issues unfolding in our country, Mama Liberia, and we are going to be diving into some of those discussions. And today we have series of discussions that we'll be looking into. We will be looking at the leadership of the preparation of the Unity Party for the upcoming elections. We know Ambassador Joseph Newman Boaka is one of the strongest front runner to the ruling establishment. We want to digest into some of his strategies and plans, when it comes to how he intends to unseat the ruling establishment. And we will be looking into that very, very thoroughly. We have as our guest the former Deputy Information Minister for Technical Services, and he's going to be here. And a couple of other issues we will be looking at. We'll also be looking at security. How is the ruling establishment preparing for the upcoming election? We have a very serious concern when it comes to security. And these are some of the topics that we'll be running over today. I want to ask our viewers to please share the podcast and please make comments. The telephone lines will be open later for people to call in. Until then, we will get the ball rolling. So our guest is here. Good morning. That's my brother Rixck Barsi. He's the former Assistant Minister for Technical Affairs at the Ministry of Information. Good morning and welcome to the Diaspora Talk, Honorable.
Good morning, Chris. How you doing? It's been quite a while. See you on a coffee this morning.
Yeah.
And good morning to co-host Gabriel. I hope you guys are doing good.
We are okay. Good morning, Mr. Barsi. It's nice getting you here. Thank you.
All right. Before we kick the ball rolling, Giah, let's have a 1 minute break and we'll get the ball rolling. Our other panelists will be coming on soon, so just give us a 1 minute break. And we'll get the ball rolling.
Street lights everywhere. The road correct, smooth. The only issue is going in and coming out. 2 small sections, and we are working on making sure that it's done. Where was Honorable Joseph Walker as Vice President when the Banga to Manicoma Road were not done in 12 years? He cannot rescue your own people. It used to take you days to go to local. Me, I come from there. So then you can drive almost half a local the road paved. So which one you rescuing now? In fact, you don't have a woman in local. The who is across the border, and then you got one in Bomia where you don't come from. What ask the people for his house in local county? You know, we need to be careful. There's some things we want to talk about. We're talking now because we need the political scene. And they're looking for it. Another thing is, as a leader, if you want to talk about rescue, you must get involved. Whole day, President, we are up and down. From one road to another road, to another camp, to another market, improving the lives of our people. What is the record of improving the lives that the former Vice President has? In the fact that Madam Salif gave him plenty of leverage. He has sectors that he has control over.
Gentlemen, that was a break there, and welcome back to the show, gentlemen. I think you just listened to Joa.
Thank you, Giah. Thank you for that short break. Again, we want to also welcome our chairman, Mr. Abraham Lincoln Mackay. Welcome, Mr. Mackay.
Yeah, gentlemen, good morning. Yeah, I hope I'm on time.
Yes, you are. You are. Yes. So right into the discussion. Honorable Rixck, we would like for you to please briefly introduce yourself for the benefit of our listening and viewing audience before we get the ball rolling.
I'll be brief on that. History has a way to present people, so not much we always like to talk about ourselves because my name is Rixck W. I'm from Grand Bassa anyway. I earned a master's degree in energy economics from the Ivy League Rice University, United States of America, Houston, Texas. Also the bachelor from the state's-owned run university in Liberia. I'm the former Deputy Minister of Republic of Liberia, Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism, Technical Services. I used to be the Assistant Minister in 2012 to 2015 at the same Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism. I served on the Ellen Johnson's campaign team as a coordinator for the presidential campaign team of Montserrat County, and also served as the Secretary General on the presidential committee to launch the Ellen Johnson Sandwich campaign. So, I mean, I'm a high school graduate. I know a lot of people didn't graduate from high school and they went to university, but I just want to put that through so at least for the clarity, you can know that I graduated from Wright International Christian Academy, a years of 1999 2000. That's just a little about me. Simple.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was our brother Rixck Barsi there, who's our guest today. So straight into our discussion. We'll be looking at the Unity Party. I know you serve in so many key positions when it comes to the Unity Party under the then Ellen-led government. You also worked in the Ellen-led government at the time, and now we have a transitioning period with the former Vice President, Mr. Joseph Newman Boakai, which I know I'm sure you support because you are still a member of the Unity Party. Well, we have the panelists here. Everybody would have their take into the discussion, and they will ask you questions that will be very interactive on this identical topic. So we're looking at the preparation of the Unity Party for campaign.
Because
It's
look, let me tell you guys. I mean, you know, when you outlined what we were to talk about,
right?
I could clearly see the picture of Liberia in the Unity Party. What Unity Party intend to do, we're gonna be succinct on that and blunt. Liberians themselves are aware on what we intend to do. First of all, a lot of people don't know that at 158 years, Liberia transitioned in 2005. Liberia 158 years old. Right. We have just come from crisis. The country on the bloodiest and some of the ugliest past when the Unity Party took over. Joseph Boakai was then vice president of the Republic of Liberia. How many person don't remember that? So I come to let you know, and the audience are viewing, there are too many things that we have achieved as a Unity Party 12 years ago. When we transitioned this country to George Weah, Liberia was in 100%. But the Unity Party has stabilized the country in a fair way, reasonable enough that Papa and Mama could come home, appreciated the things that we've done. We want to build on our achievements that have been destroyed by the CDC government, George Weah and his thieves, his bunnies. So we've come this time around to let the Liberian people know that they made mistakes. That's their democratic right, and we respect that. But the decision they made in 2017, that transitioned George Weah and the group of thugs that are running around the country today, irresponsible of the things that should govern a state. We think the Unity Party is best suited to restore the dignity and peace. What do we anticipate? Agriculture, for instance. Joseph Boakai is the former Minister of Agriculture. Now, quite history will inform some of you, and you guys are the platform people, and you do more research. We have come to advance the agriculture sector of the country and build on the agriculture sector. Somebody asked the question the other day, why you got to do that in 12 years ago or 2005, 2011? We were building the system, the PCC, good governance, LACC. Liberia since 1822, it was under the regime of Joseph Newman Boakai as vice president and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf as president. These systemic institutions were formed. How many persons don't know that? Why people not realistic and objective? You never had that in Liberia system before. It was a leadership. So we revamped the agriculture sector that has been destroyed today with all the corruptions going on. We'll come back again to build the educational sector of the country. The Unity Party has that on their platform. We'll come back again and build the infrastructure of the country. Like the Unity Party has that on their platform. It was under the Unity Party government that government ministries been owned by government. The records are there. People can research it. People were paying money to individuals that were working in government, giving their homes. For instance, the former where the Justice Ministry used to be, these places were owned by people. But under the Joseph Newman Boakai government, as a vice president to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, They led a different institutional workings that gave Liberia a facelift, that gave Liberia a reasoning judgment to the international community. So our platform this time around is the Liberian People platform. It's not just the Unity Party platform. It's a Liberian People platform. It's what they want. And so we come back, we come back to make sure that we can restore those dignity they lost, the lost image.
Thank you. I know we will delve into the past region a little bit because I know you went in there and I kind of disagree with some of your points you strike, but we will get into that later. Gabriel, up to you. You heard the former minister lay out his agenda and the vision for Honorable Boakai stepping in and wanting to become the next president. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, let me welcome you, Mr. Barsi Giah, and I just heard you outlining, in fact, describing Joshua regime as a bandits. I mean, they are criminals. But the point here is, firstly, let me give it to you. Your brother, Civico Barsi Giah, I mean, I'm sure he's your brother. He works at the port, at the Buchanan port, as a managing director. I mean, and he's on the other side, and you want to almost like, I mean, you people are on the different angles. So how do you really feel? I believe in tolerance. I believe in diversification of knowledge. But I just want to know, do you sometimes talk to him? How do you really feel he working in the government that you see being so corrupt? I mean, there are a lot of bandits, as you described. How do you really feel about that? Do you really
and these descriptions sometimes become worse when we having a conversation. And he has his own view. Even when we were in government, Civic Corps would critique former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and Joseph Yuma Boakai. And we analyzed to him on why the country is the way it is. Because the truth of the matter is, Civic is an independent person. We come from a family that, quote unquote, put on the enrichment of something called veto. Any one of the family members can decide what they want to do, mom, father, brother, sister, nephew. So we respect each other like that as a family. We don't break our bonds because we want to satisfy some politician. We don't do that. But if it is the decision that you want to make to support a certain group of people and things are not right, we're going to outrightly tell you that. So yes, Civicus and I have conversation, and sometimes I tell him that they need to go. It's now time to leave. It's now time for George to leave. The country is unstable. Our people are suffering, brother. Our people are really suffering. Things are hard. They are now reaping the dividends of their votes. And why they were running in the rings and wearing the blue barrels and the blue t-shirts. Things are hard. Maybe it might be just for Civicus, George Weah, and the rest, and Samuel too, and the rest of other people's stability and how they can find themselves in the comfort zone. No, that's not Liberia. Liberia is 5 million people, 4.5 to 5 million people. And so my reasoning about that is Civicus and George Weah, the rest, they need to go. Time to leave.
Okay, thank you so much. And I respect that. I mean, you are brothers, but I mean, I respect political tolerance. Thank you so much. I respect that.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, you heard the deputy minister spoke, and what's your take?
Well, let me firstly welcome the former deputy minister to our platform, and it is a pleasure to have you on here today. This is a Diaspora Talk where we discuss issues about Liberia, and trust me, we are here to defend the Liberian people. We are not here to seek government jobs, but we are here to make sure the Liberian people have a better living environment. I listened to him, he said a couple of things, but let me just say this. This election is not promised to the Unity Party.
No.
But what I'm seeing, it might also be promised to the CDC government because the Unity Party, they are without form and shape, right? Because what most we expect to see from Unity Party is organizing themselves in a form that they will push their agenda to make sure that the Liberian people feel them to the fullest. And I will just tell you this. The late Samakayando was never well educated, but he tried to put Liberia on a certain path that you and I can boast of today here that Doe did XYZ and blah, blah, blah. The former country called Upper Bota, that is Burkina Faso, former President Thomas Sankara, may so rest in peace. He was not that highly educated, but he placed his country on a map that today the Burkinabés can never forget about him. So what I'm trying to say in short is this. It's very important that UPs try to govern themselves or try to organize themselves in a way that they will push their agenda to the fullest. But this election is not promising a unity party. I think it is better to work very hard. We all want the best for our country, Liberia. But at the end of the day, if the unity party cannot do their best, we will all still be sitting on this table or on this platform trying to look for a better living environment or push a better agenda for the Liberian people. Unity party should be an option, but they are not governing themselves in the form that we feed them to be an option. We still see challenge politics from unity partisans all on social media and also back home. And I think it is discouraging. We should start growing from all of these things, trying to, equip ourselves very well. But all that you see on social media, you see back home, just all of these kind of challenging, politics. It's not helping our country. It's not helping the political landscape of our country. All that we see is people denigrating people. The issues now these days are not being discussed anymore, gentlemen. It's not being discussed. People tearing down people going to people's personal life. Even though, it is true, sometimes you discuss personality because it's personality that make the issues right. But with the way people carrying it these days, it's totally different. We want the best for our country, Liberia. I also want to believe that there are a lot of mistakes too being made by the CEC government and likewise the UP government. A lot of mistakes too are being made. So I don't want anybody to come on and come boast of Unity Party. Unity Party never did their best. Do you know how much civil servants were making? Do you know how much the armed forces of Liberia were making? Do you know how much the Liberian National Police were making?
Abraham,
do you know how many people who are making filth? No, you give me the time to talk, brother. You give me. It is not because you're still trying to see government job again in Joseph Wagner government. You become government.
We qualify. We live in good. In fact,
I'm not saying you qualify, but at this present moment now, you do not work in government. And we understand all of
I'm doing good in all Georgia government officials.
We understand all of these theatrics, my brother. We understand all of these theatrics. So you give me the time, let me learn, then you come in.
I understand.
We know that these guys still trying. We know these guys enjoyed government position when they were there. We know they enjoyed the food, and we know they still want to taste it again.
It's okay. It's okay to enjoy government with dignity.
But we can't have an argument. We can't have a.
I don't put the ask question team. I can make statement.
And I appreciate that.
I can make
argument. We don't want an argument back and forth fighting stuff. No.
But the guys have to give my time, T-Max. The guys,
have your time. Maybe have your time. Have your time, buddy. Have your time.
We don't want this to be a back and forth fight. Like you can.
No, T-Max. It's not either. I like the speed. I like the speed. I like the speed.
Let me express himself.
I like his speed. I like that zeal. Trust me.
I like his energy. I like his energy.
Go ahead.
And he talked about some things that we got the numbers for. I like his energy. That's okay.
Yeah, I will stop here for now, T-Max, but I got more to say. I will stop here for now. I got more to say. Let me just get my pen and paper quickly.
Good. Let me go back to the honorable man. So you just said the Joseph Yuan Boaka campaign team is up and ready for the upcoming elections. We had a lot of fights and splits in the opposition camp, where we came from the CPP. We had all these other political parties merge, and they formed the CPP with the intent of unseating President Giah. Today, we have all of these breakaways and people going personal with each other, and we just had the Henry Costa camp and Ure camp breaking away from the UP and all of that. Do you actually think the Unity Party have the force, the strength, the numbers to unseat President Giah? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have the numbers. I mean, the number is not determined on Joseph Boakai, it's determining on the Liberian people. And let me tell you this: when the Liberian people are resolved to do certain things or to make a democratic decision, you can see in their faces, their body language, their wordings, their anger, and the way they're going to carry on. We've been in elections several times. I have led campaign. I know when the appetite of voters changed. I know when they transition with their mind democratically to remove a government. As it is, Costa, I don't let him mention his name though, but just for the sake of the conversation, Costa is nobody into Liberia's career political stardom. No, he's nobody. He's one of the many talk show hosts who's gallivanting around in a mercenary mood. That's just a guy who always cut across different areas. And it is interesting to know there are many politicians like us and people who know the statistics and the body politics of Liberia. We're getting better with Costa because there are some wordings and things that he get along to say to responsible people that he shouldn't say, that I would not say. That's his job. So we found a way to get these kind of people into different moves at a certain point in time. His time is cut off. We are now going to a political space of maturity. That there's no time for boys again. We have transitioned him to another level. And that's make Unity Party very unique because we got different stages and leverage of our campaign and how we move about and what we think we will achieve. At some point in time, it was expected that Unity Party wasn't even going to come back the way it is, or wasn't even going to be the force to reckon with, Chris. You know that at some point in time, somebody even think that, okay, there's no party called Unity Party anymore. At this stage, it is George Weah versus Unity Party. Everywhere you pass, the loops and corners of Liberia, Unity Party, George Weah CDC, because they are the governing party. So yes, we are ready. Our campaign team has been formed. You know, the Yombri Kanga is the campaign manager, Senator Yombri Kanga. And we have a very, very young and forceful vice standard bearer named Rixck W, coming from one of the vote-rich counties of our country. A man with so much energy campaigning himself as an additional face to Joseph Yuma Boakai with the magnetic vote. So we not worry about how people think about us. We worry about our strategy. Every time day that we sit in the corners to re-strategize our move is an advantage to us and disadvantage to the opposition. So the Euros, I mean, we really don't worry about the Euros because they got so many things to worry about. If I can tell you about the Euros, they transition so many times. MPP, MDR, CDC, Unity Party, back to CDC. I mean, they are just in their inconsistent move. We not worry about them. The bigger picture is like in Abraham Ward, the maturity of this league is to unseat George Weah. We are not distracted by all these people running around the streets. The maturity of this league, 3 months to go, to score that goal. That is the goal for the team to win championship. That's George Weah. We look at E. Marshall. He won't carry away by Lone Star Cell. It's not our target. We're not going to be carried away by Gibberish by Joy Howard Taylor. It's not our target. We're going to right to E. Marshall. Our dialogue will remain in the corners and straight into the confines of the league. We are ready. On day one, our boots and sleeves are rolled up. And we're gonna be ready to go right in there.
Let me go right up there to Gabriel. Gabriel, what do you make of the response? And if you have a question or statement, go right there with the minister.
Yes, I listened to the minister and stating how ready they are, but my concern has to do with Unity Party affiliates. You know, I mean, really, right now, our concern is to get rid of. I mean, the Liberian people concern is to get rid of CDC because of corruption. But right now we are seeing like the Unity Party, they are only focused on winnability and not, I mean, ethicality. Let's take, for example, I mean, the same people that have handicapped the economy, the same people that have destroyed, the same people that have been tagged as corrupt. I mean, Prince Johnson was, I mean, sanctioned for this, what we call pay and no pay for play. But right now we're seeing that he became the face of the United Party campaign right now. let's talk about Jeremiah Kuhn. Jeremiah Kuhn right now, I mean, he been in the house. There are a lot of bills that have been, been passed there. And we haven't heard him, really make something or stood up, for the Liberian people to challenge the bills. And there are a lot of dark cloud hanging over his head about, ritualistic killing, all these things that he has never cleared up. So my question here is that, is the Unity Party only concerned about winning and not looking at the kind of people they are trying to, on board into their camp? We even hear that Eric Snow is even trying to affiliate with the Pape.
No, but you see,
so how are you people? How are you people really doing? How are you people recruiting?
You're missing the point. Gabriel, they like to say you when people always say you don't teach old or new tricks, right? Gabriel, we governed before. We governed before. We know what it means to govern. Joseph Walker have led before for 40 years constructively in Liberia. Ministerial level, managing director, vice president, represented Liberia to the United Nations with huge experiences. He's a great man. Everybody in the corners of the Unity Party have led before. It's not a strange thing. We are not coming to the pillar that we are about to fix. We're not building foundation here. We got a foundation. What we intend to do is to govern now the Liberian people that are suffering now, to make sure that we remind them 12 years ago that civil servants were making less than 150. We categorize them and place them into the formulation of the Unity Party systemic governance. And we had the civil servants to go into different areas where government employees were working. For example, some of them work with Ministry of Health, and then they work with Ministry of Information. We had something put in place called a one pen, one person. And we instrumented that. The instruction was to make sure that qualified Liberians get well paid. How AB doesn't even know that. When we took over, Liberia's budgets were below 500 million. I think 800,000 or something that they were running around with when we took over in 2005. Joseph Walker assisting Madam Eddie Johnson Sirleaf. That's when Liberia's budget hit 500 million. How AB doesn't even know that. He questioned us not paying civil servants enough. What the police were making yesterday, when we took over, that's not what they're making now. We classify them. If you got a bachelor's, a master's, a different pay rate. The high school teacher, KTTR, for instance, those with bachelor's teaching, ask anyone in Liberia, it was this government that quote unquote brought in something called harmonization and reverted to the status quo and giving now our people cannot pay their school fees, pay their children's school fees, and can't even make sure that it's settled their even hospital bills. When we were in charge, civil servants were well paid. Of course, they were well paid into different classification. The least paid civil servant might have been making something like close to $200, depending what classification you fall in.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
Well, the civil servant,
one minute, Abraham. Mr. Barsi, I don't think that really answered my question. My real question here is, how can you be preaching and clamoring against corruption while you are relying on sanctioned people in order to win? You are mingling with them, you are affiliating with them, they are the face of your campaign. People that print Johnson.
No, they are not. I just told you the campaign manager for the Unity Party is Yomri Kanga. Get that right. That's correct. That press. You say you are the face that show the magnanimity of our campaign is Joseph Yumabwaka. Rescue 2 is for Nema County. Prince Johnson cannot be excluded. Every political party, considering the fact and not admitting that Abraham is for the other side, they need Prince Johnson. How many times have Prince Johnson have not dictated the politics of Liberia and put it in the trump card? So having Prince Johnson on our side is an addition. That's not going to scare it away. The United Nations needs to tell us in a clear term that this individual, as a sitting senator, cannot participate into politics or cannot. That's his own issue to settle with the United Nations. It is not into Liberia's business. Into the confines of our law, he has his right to vote. He has the right to politic. He has the right to be into Liberia body politics. That cannot be taken away from him. You know our constitution very well. So if politically somebody thinking that we're going to extract Prince Johnson away to loss of 400 and some thousand votes as per the current latest numbers, no, you play, buddy. You play.
So Nathaniel Mange also welcome on board, right?
We putting our boy in Nima. We putting our boy in Nima.
I just want to know if they are also welcoming.
I will hold you
Nathaniel
there
well.
for a minute. I'll hold you there for a minute. Let me go to the chairman. I think the chairman got some stuff.
Chairman Ebi. Come on, buddy.
Go ahead.
I like your energy.
You heard the minister responding, and what do you have? Questions?
I mean, you know what I'm going to say is this. I'll ask a question, but let me make this statement. You know, the minister trying to hustle away back in the government job. You got to know what they did at the time they were there. But you telling us here that the least civil servant were making 200 United States dollars, then I think he need to go back and do a research.
Abraham was making all
you need to go back and do your research because that is false. But let me just say this right to you. You know, it's often said that a concentrated mind is never disturbed. If the Unity Party or the UPs are well concentrated, they won't be disturbed with small things that are happening around them. You make a strong statement, right? That hearing Pedro Costa is nobody. It's nothing. But I want to ask you this question. Do you remember when Joseph Yumambwaga was flying, going to the U.S. back and forth?
Right.
Hearing Pedro Costa was buying his plane ticket?
Who told you that?
Do you also remember when Heron Pedro Costa raised 20 plus United States dollars along with Joseph Braga when he was president in America? Do you remember all of those major good things that Pedro did for Joseph Braga? Do you remember all the years? Trust me, I'm not a fan of Costa. I am not a fan of Costa.
I will answer all that question with ease.
Do you remember all of the years that Heron Costa keep supporting, keep pushing the agenda of Joseph Yumamba? What were you guys?
Oh, we were around. We are politicians.
Nobody knew you. And Heron Costa, I think.
Are you kidding me?
My brother.
Honorable, let him land. Then you can.
Yeah, the member, you know, let me talk. My man, we'll go back and forth. Trust me, Giah, you strong, I say I'm strong, my brother.
Go ahead.
Chairman, you protect the chairman.
I will just stop there. I will just stop here for now because every time I try to talk, you try to always, cut me up. Yeah, do you remember all of these major good that Costa did for your candidate today? That you are saying Costa is nobody. How can a nobody raise 20 plus United States dollars for this Joseph Yumamba? Plus United States dollars, 20,000 plus. I'm sorry, right. 20,000 plus United States dollars. How can a nobody raise that amount of money? How can a nobody buy a plane ticket that you and I know cost 1,000 plus United States dollars for your candidate to come to America? How can nobody do that?
Okay, first let me start with the 20,000 before I go to the goods that more or less relative, because it was not, you didn't specify, you just and blah blah. So I'm not going to respond to that. 20,000 was raised on a who image? Rhetorical question, not for you to answer. In communication, there's something called image management or image communication. And then if you have a Joseph Yumambwaga, the former vice president name being used to raise funds, basically because Costa was connected with Joseph Braga, he was rebranding himself. That was a lost image. He's damaged himself over the years, and that he was a talk show host, damaged himself over the years, said the words about Joseph Yumambwaga, bent down on his knees and went back to the same old man and begging to have a connect. The old man being very forgiving, he allowed Costa in his corner. Costa did not purchase any ticket. That's a big lie in my Ellen Johnson selling voice. That's a big lie, buddy. He never purchased no ticket. All these fake stuff he creating that he usually does by himself and make himself feel good, and he think that's the way to take away his desperation and frustration. These are all lies. I'll tell you for sure. You talk about a former vice president here. You talk about Costa purchasing a ticket, Ebi. If you come and think about it, I don't know how you guys make this analysis sometimes. It's like getting on people's nerves. You talking about a former vice president, well paid for 12 years. Now you say Costa purchasing a ticket. If for
Well,
any
for
reason,
12 years, but still living on loan.
hold on a
But he
minute,
live on loan.
hold on a
He
minute,
live on loan.
hold on a minute. You just put a dark cloud in the conversation by talking about people that Costa purchasing a ticket for the former vice president, and you talking about raising $20,000. Joseph Boakai image alone. If I want to raise funds today and use Joseph Boakai picture, his image alone, in his name, you will raise more than $100,000. You
I
talk about
challenge you. I challenge you on that statement. I challenge you on
we
that.
get to the challenging part. I just giving you emphasis on the image we're talking about. So Costa is not a brand. Costa uses people around the different internets and governor resources in their name. He just confessed to something recent time, the quote unquote 30 million. Again, he was using the Joseph Boakai image to exploit some group of people, though there's no 30 million existing anywhere in the world. And he couldn't even refuse 30 million. And you know that, David. You know that's not small money we're talking about here. 30 million that Liberia can go sign with another country before they get it as a funding loan. When Liberia signed 10 million loan, they already celebrating. And a junkie of a politician comes to you and tells you, say, I refuse to 30 million. You know straight that's a charade. But the truth of the matter is, Costa did not purchase a ticket for Joseph Yuma Boakai. That's a big lie. He raised money in the name of Joseph Boakai or in the name of the Unity Party that had a cloud, that tried to rebrand him, that tried to bring back a lost image. And of course, if these money were raised, it has to go back to the dividend had to be received or achieved by the Unity Party. How dare you want to question that? That's what we do. That's politics. Raise fundings. Everywhere in the United States of America, people raise funding. But the truth of the matter is, the person being marketed is Joseph Yuma Boakai. So there's no purchase of ticket. That's a lie. That's a charade. That Costa, the issue about Costa is the guy like to be in the corridor of influential people. He hasn't been influential himself. If he has, then he was going to win the election in District 6. That I said
Okay,
before.
Timas, can you give me 5 seconds? Let me do a follow-up quickly, right?
Do your thing,
just
buddy.
what you said.
Do your
Yeah.
thing. Do your thing.
It's good that you have admitted that Henry Costa raised money either for the Joseph Yuma Boakai, in the name of Joseph Yuma Boakai, or in the name of UP. So my question now to you, how can nobody, you say somebody, how can nobody raise money for a party?
Oh,
somebody
yes,
nobody. How possible can nobody raise money?
No, but Abi, you didn't get that particular emphasis that I laid, right? Whose image in communication? There's no way you can raise funds.
Yes, anybody can use Joseph Boakai image to raise 100,000 plus United States dollars, right? So how can nobody raise such amount of money?
JMB is the magnetic image for Liberia right now going towards election. Any person reasonable of a political understanding that has a talk show and have the consent of Joseph Yuma Boakai wanting to raise funding,
nobody
and wanting to raise fundings, can use the image of Joseph Yuma Boakai get to where you're supposed to get in terms of that, as long as you have his word. But the truth of the matter is, I haven't seen the fundings you're talking about. I just heard it from you. So that's why I said, saying that was not admitting. You said Costa raised $20,000. I know the last time Costa raised such money, it was to rob the people that were monitoring his show. He was going to a lawsuit. That has never happened. A very con artist. So if this conversation would be promoting Costa lost image, I mean, I'm just going to just break it down more. So just get Costa in that corner.
We gotta stick to the discussion. We discussing in the Unity Party. Back to the discussion. You know, we're talking about the Unity Party here. You guys had 12 years of service with Liberian people. There were a lot done, I'll be honest, but there was massive corruption too. Under the Ellen government, from her children, Robert Salih, to the rest of the others. We all know the records are there. Ambassador Boakai served under that regime as vice president. He saw all of those corruptions, like the government was highly corrupt. And the Ellen government had more support in terms of the international community. We had unveil in the country. We had a lot of support from the World Bank, IMF. The Giah-led government did not have those support, because when President Weah took over, unveil was leaving at the time. There was a lot of drawdown in the country. A lot of stuff was leaving. Under the Ellen government, we had a lot of support from the unveil community and other international community that other international bodies that raised funds and donated a lot of funds to the country for development. Unfortunately, President Weah government don't have even close to what the Unity Party had at the time. And you guys had 12 years. That was not 6 years, 12. And there was less done in terms of the way the country was ran, in terms of how people's lives were changed. And today you have Ambassador Bwaka, who ran in the past election against President Weah and lost. Why do you think that the people of Liberia look at him now as the best leader for that country, to lead that country, when he served under a government that served for 12 years? And the Liberian people did not vote him when he went against Weah in the first election, and he's about to go back. What made you think that the Liberian people are convinced to vote him now?
Things are, yeah, Timac, things have changed. You know, you always try, you set it like you setting the pace for the Unity Party victory. Your inquiry sometimes it give me more energy to tell the Liberian people why they are fired up for JMB. The Liberian people are current. Things have changed. They have tasted the wolf. You know, there's some parables in wolves in, I don't know, sheep in clothing or something.
Yes, wolf in sheep clothing, yeah.
Right, wolf. They have tasted the wolf. You know, when you really don't know a person, but you think realistically, and that person coming with a glorious day. And everybody thought in the Liberian politics that for the current Liberian politics, unlike the Tober and Tubman time, where people just stay 27 years, the democratic space has provided a situation where there are too many literate political people. They might not be academically literate, but literate political people. And their thought of minds are different. And they thought that Unity Party stayed 2 terms and it was time to transition. Later, they did realize that they were giving the wolves the clothing of a sheep, and that they would not even appreciate for even the first 3 months that a president would be building condominium. They did not know that. They did not even realize that a minister of state would be going to LBDI and collecting the LBDI money in the name of loan to purchase a house on the highway to VOA. They did not know that. Constructively, the Unity Party government, I agree, there were corruptions, and there's no way anybody can disagree with that. But there were punitive measures. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf set the course of actions along with Joseph Walker. Joseph Walker could not dictate the pace of the action. It was only EJS. You only have one president in a country. Like you have one police director, you have one chief of staff. So Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was cutting the card. And she had the pillow set aside. You know, it was under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and Joseph Walker that we have the LACC. That never existed in Liberia before after 158 years when we took over in 2005. Like I said, Liberia 158 years old. These systemic issues I'm talking about, they were never in place, and AB knows about that. Gabriel knows about that. My brother who just coming on, I'm not seeing your name right, he knows about that. But the past 158 years, they were not in place. First, what we thought about, in 2005, you said we have 12 years. You're going to give me some time to respond on this. The first 6 years, when we won after 2005, if you go back to the video clip of Liberia, that was a ravaged country we took over. Completely dilapidated.
I agree.
Backward. I agree. There was no country called Liberia when we took over 2005. I mean, I feel sorry when people don't realize the energy we put in. When Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was president, Joseph Walker was vice president, people not appreciating the energy. It is now the Liberian people have realized the energy we put in to restore the dignity of Liberia. Passport cannot be sold like when Ellen was in power. The foreign ministry was not looking the way it looked and losing their integrity and dignity to the diplomatic community. Liberia has ambassadors around the world that when you enter a country, people respect you. Unlike today, Since the transition from 2017 to 2018, Liberia is dragging down below the belt. But for the sake of your question, when we took over 2005, there was no Liberia. There was no country's budget. There was no institution. There was no ministry. There was no corporation. Our first task was to have a country called Liberia. We did. Our first task.
So what was the name of where we were living? I mean, don't be saying there was no country called Liberia. I mean, our guest is not doing our problem with the
You got to be analytical, AB. I'm
Yeah,
not
how
in a
can you say
teaching
there was
class.
no country called Liberia?
There was no
No,
country.
what was
I'm
the
not
name?
in a teaching class. I mean, it's got to be analytical. Most of the analysis I'm making, most of the analysis I'm making, the analysis are for people like you, educated people like you. I'm not talking to my mind. I'm not talking to my mind or my pa in Barsi.
I get where
I'm
he's
talking
coming
to an
from. Go ahead.
educated man like you, AB. I'm making analysis in the context of your status. Get that, brother.
Go ahead.
You expect me to go to Barsi and tell her that? Having a met you on this platform,
but the people
understand the
look
analysis
at
I'm making.
the people look
There
at
was
what
no
they
country
listen to
called
us.
Liberia. You have an interim government. You have our people going to Ghana. You have our people running around the streets. You have Model on the other side. You have an interim government by Judy Bryan. You have any the rest of other people so panel representing Liberia as managing director, deputy managing director of the FPRC. You had the maritime lost its image. The Liberian flag could not be flown to the maritime before. Did you have a country called Liberia? I'm talking in the context of your status, buddy. You get it. I'm not talking to my people in this world. I'm not talking about people in Bijotan. And I know you get it. But the truth of the matter is there was no country called Liberia. You never had a national budget. You never had a security. What is sovereignty, buddy? I mean, we don't go back to civics. There was no sovereignty. How you get a country called Liberia when we don't have a security, buddy? When we took over, we brought back Liberia's lost image. We rebuilt the system. We went into infrastructure. We rebuilt the educational status. Our first 6 years, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Liberia's most celebrated and decorated president since the history of our country, assisted by Vice President Giah the magnetic numbers that coming through that individual from all sorts of walks of life and all of Avira counties, dignity were restored to our country. And that's why we're talking about the first thing. That's what they call governance. You got to see leadership first. Your people got to see the dignity in the leadership. We re-image Liberia. Did you have a passport that you could really recognize in the world? When we took over 2005, we brought back that international image. Your Liberia was owing close to $2 billion. When we took over our first 6 years, our job was to clear that debt. We did it. So for the next 6 years, that we had that make it 12 years and for sure T-Max, that was the time we were transitioning and making sure our people, Papa Kanhu, stability in corporations, civil servant pay being raised, security sector revamp. That was when your uncle Chris Mazak, when the other people were heading security, that's where the image of the security were respected. Greg Komona, police director, the image were respected. Ziankan, chief of staff, rebranding the AFL, making sure that Liberia dignity could be recognized, making sure Liberia be represented to the Malay. Man, there's no government since the history of the country that had transitioned in these forms that are just listed, the bloodiest and ugliest form, and give this kind of restoration to the country. Liberians don't appreciate that, but they appreciate that now. And this is why Joseph Boakai is showing a face to restore that lost image along with Rescue 2, Jeremiah Kohn. And we're going Nima to flood the buggers. He's talking about Prince Johnson. You think we're leaving him behind?
Thank you.
We're carrying him along with us.
I'll hold you right there. Let me welcome one of my powerful panelists. That's my brother, Alfred Momodu Konowa. He's the Vice President-elect of the Liberian Association of the Waterloo and Cedar Falls in Iowa. Welcome, my brother, Alfred.
Congratulations, Alfred.
Thank you so much.
At least I will have a home in Iowa when I come there. These my brothers, they AB and the rest of other people will play some soccer and drink some Leos or something. But that's okay.
So Alfred, you heard it, the honorable laying out the platform for his party. He's giving all of the defensive tactics and strategies that they have moving forward for the upcoming elections. And what do you make of the Unity Party preparation? I think you were following the show. Do you have a question, comment? Go with the minister.
Yeah, I was following the show, and I want to say thank you to Honorable Barsi for coming out here to lay out the basis for which the Unity Party is going to win a one-round victory come October 10. And I told you a few weeks ago that the political win. If you have followed Liberian politics, I stand to be corrected on the show. Liberia is the only country in the sub-region. When the people decide, when the people are resolved, you don't need a rocket scientist to tell you. The ratings are all on the wall.
Damn, man, you join the party now, man.
I have told you a few weeks ago that I have joined the train. And my journey of the train is not to start halfway. The next president of our country, Honorable Joseph Yuma Boakai, is well seated to deliver this country from the level of tatters that we have seen over the last 6 years. So I wish to ask Honorable Barsi some questions, but I want to lay the basis before I ask my question. Because you know I've been following him, and he made some statement here that I believe that we need some clarity on as it relates to our brother Henry Pedro Costa and the recent Rixck W that we've been seeing on social media as it relates to the campaign. But Mr. Basikia, that's because the records are there, you know. Even though I'm not here to dignify Madam Selim, because I feel that she disappointed me in some areas that I felt that she would have done better for our country, and she didn't do well, especially when it comes to the issue of corruption. She didn't put her foot down well. You know, so even up to today, I'm still angry with her because of that. But we know very well that Madam Selim, in all of what she did in the last 12 years, we know where the country was when President Selim took over in 2005, and we saw the massive improvement in terms of institutional building and everything up to 2017. You know, the roadmap was set for the CDC government to thrive on, to do better. Unfortunately, they failed to do that. And today, when you add the CDC government, even up to the president, he does not have anything to say. The only thing he tell you, 12 years, what did they do? And what can they do now? He does not show you exactly the tangible that he was able to achieve in the last 6 years in terms of infrastructure development, in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of security, in terms of economic viability. We don't see that. But the reality is that the Liberian people are resolved, and come October 10, they will make a massive improvement as it relates to the mistake that they made in 2017. Mr. Basikia, let's talk about the campaign. We have 3 months to elections, and I've been watching social media, and I'm seeing the campaign team, NIMI, representatives, and senators that will be throwing their weight behind. What are some of the mechanisms that the party has put in place in terms of making sure that these candidates are sincere enough that when they win these elections, they will pledge loyalty to the party in terms of its national agenda moving forward?
Yeah, thank you, Alfred, and thanks for the way you lay some bases that are very accurate in the sensitivity of our body politics. That's important for that to have somebody on as a host and fully knowledgeable of what happens in Liberia or what happened in Liberia. I can give that to you. What we've put in place, there's several different mechanisms. And reflecting on Martini, when I was Secretary General of the Unity Party for Montserrat, and part of my TOR was to make sure I have the different districts representation be elected, and making sure there were people that we could count on. And that's one important part, and that's what you just stressed. This time around, it has been glaring that people around or Liberians who have the capability to get in the capital bidding, they use political institutions to get in the capital bidding and enrich themselves. So there are a lot of different standards, I'm told, from the campaign team, a lot of different standards that were set. And amongst these standards, the secretariat got a team set up that they go do visibility and do evaluation, and they come back with an appraisal. The appraisal will be met with the decision from the NCC, the National Executive Committee would meet. They verify that, and amongst all the candidates before they go forward and making an election through selection. So this is a standard that they have put in place, and my understanding that's they form a document signed, but the Liberian politics, people can sign onto the document today and deviate tomorrow. So there's not anything guaranteed that we can take to the bank to cash. But the truth of the matter is we have put in place some mechanisms respectable of institutional building, making sure that we can work together as a team. When you get elected, you got to make sure you support the party's platform. You got to respect the party's platform and its leaders. So, yes, that's a good question you raised. And there are several other modalities we put it in place. And so we cannot expand on all our strategy in terms of how we want to put our lawmakers in the corners, basically because there's a public platform and somebody could take it away. I just try to put that one in true so you can know, because there are some sensitive part that sometimes I refuse to mention. Basically, when I have this kind of dialogue, because a lot of people do copy and paste, and at the end of the day, it's a borrowed knowledge. So you got to be, sometimes you just put in a little few, and some standards that we set aside, and this one that I just explained, that that's an easy route that anybody can take away, which is not really genuine and strategic, that you can use it as a counterfeit against a unity party. But thank you for the inquiry, and more to be done. Maybe with after the conversation, if I get your number, I can share with you some of the different manifesto methodology that we got in place, and then you can look through it and see some of those sensitive things you're asking for. But for accuracy, I don't want to put the party out there. A different platform people here. I see the different set of people.
Yeah,
Thank you, Honorable.
let me ask
Thank you.
one more question, and then
Sam
I can give the
Fan,
floor
Sam
over to the
Fan, thank
chairman.
you for watching from Jamaica. Sam Fan just said
Yeah.
he's watching from Jamaica. Thank you very much. So we will have at least 5 minutes on this topic, and then we'll take a mini break, and then we'll move to our next topic.
Yeah,
So
but Abraham, if you may, let me just squeeze the question into the honorable
go ahead.
minister
Go ahead.
before we go.
Go ahead.
Regarding Costa.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree that the old man is trying to be very, very, very much magnanimous in terms of how he deal with Costa, because Costa
Yeah.
has been one of our stronger ally, no doubt to that. In terms of pushing the agenda of Joseph Imam Bouaka, we know the Liberian politics can become toxic sometimes, and I will not sit here and say to you that Henry Pedro Costa was not one of those persons who was very toxic in 2017, and he described the old man, as a dead man walking. But we all have our own political interest when it comes to elections, and we can divulge that from him at the time. However, he realized few months later that what he did, in terms of campaigning against Honorable Bouaka at the time was wrong, and he decided to pivot. And we saw from 28 to 2019 up to where we are today, what he was able to do in terms of rebranding and revitalizing the Unity Party, and looking at Joseph Human Bouaka as the figurehead, and what he was able to do to bring alive the name Joseph Human Bouaka in our Liberian society. We can't take that from him. But recently, there has been this, political rigmarole in terms of vice presidential candidate and what have you. Mr. Costa felt betrayed. According to him, he felt betrayed, and he felt that people were kind of plotting against him. And today he refused. In fact, he has backtracked of his support to Mr. Bouakai. For me personally, I don't think this is a time for us to be, attacking each other, because the ultimate goal is to get Dr. George we are from power.
Yeah.
And if we'll be attacking each other in the opposition, I don't think it mean well for us. So I will strongly recommend that you backtrack the statement you made when you say Costa is nothing, and I think that was a political mistake, and it can be corrected, because we know very well Costa has played a major role in the opposition, and we can't take that from him. However, what the campaign or the, let's say the Joseph Yuma Boakai team is doing right now to reconcile, you know, these hurts that people are feeling and how we can re-amalgamate ourselves to come together to make sure that we remove George Weah?
Yeah, Alfred. First thing, most times when I express myself, I don't retract on because I first have a talk through before I do that. Costa is a sellout. Alfred, I don't know how you don't know about that. He used to be with Winston Tubman, went to George Weah, then Uri. And then he built himself around the Uri family in a way to use them as a trump card. But they are lesser of a weight, though, in the Liberian body politics, not for financial reasons. They are lesser of a weight in the Liberian body politics. Um, Even the current president said, in his word, that no Uri will win any elected position. In Georgia, word, they meant the other than running beyond now. They're going back to. So Costa is a sellout. Let me tell you one reason in marketing. You know, I got my bachelor's in public administration. I did management management. In marketing, there are some things people do. They foresee, they look ahead, they see the bigger picture. Costa alignment with former Vice President Joseph Boakai was not sincere. He needed somebody usable. And when he thought to market himself, when he was transitioning to the United States of America and build back his own lost image, was to get on his bended knees to apologize to Joseph Yuma Boakai for his disdain comment and disrespect to a statesman. It was on purpose. It was on purpose. There are several books we read around the world, political books, and see why some politicians do some things. Costa is not a politician, he's a talk show host. He always on a mission to get himself into certain cloud that we appreciate him, not the people he's speaking to, not the audience, and not the people he walk along with. When you get to study about the Costa fever and how he goes about his life and how his intents are not real, you will understand that the individual is nobody for real. Because somebody in a talk show mercenary move cannot be guaranteed, cannot be respected, cannot be given the dignity that you and I and others who see Liberia at the bigger picture would do. Let's come to the vice president thing. And you check back to the same Costa's recording. I remember he said he wanted to be a senator, something like that. Who could make Costa senator? That's a United Party, largest vote constituency most of the United Party. Check between all National Elections Commission results. We were giving him a clean slate because of Joseph Yuma Boakai behavior and the way he reconciled with people and his respect for Liberians. He thought it was good to forgive Costa. And even getting on the United Party to go independent candidate, he would Lecker gave his blessing with nobody being a hurdle to Costa. He used that too as a trump card, and he thought that he could govern that resources for the CDC. The gentleman was doing business with the CDC. What he was doing was for marketing purpose. He governed that resources for the CDC, pretending to re-image the United Party and the Joseph Yuma Boakai. And at the end of the day, he built a platform of numbers because he running a business. And he had an increment in numbers because he needed the opposition to follow him on his platform. And then at the same time, he already had the CDC in his corner that paying him on their payroll and managing the things that he's supposed to. Where Costa works, where he worked before, how is he able to manipulate serious man-led people? I mean, I'm not among that category of people he does manipulate, though. But I have seen the young man manipulate serious minded people into thriving their way into the things he does. The criminal nature of his way of carrying on himself. And that's why I don't forgive him for the words I used. Most times I don't really mention his name. It's put on the platform. That one person I never seen in my picture. But at the end of the day, he was in Joe corner. He was in JMB corner. For some reason, Jeremy is the standard bearer. That's the flag bearer that I respect. And I don't doubt his decision on people that come around him and people who come into his corners. For that reason, he was in the corner. But get me right. That boy is a con artist. Don't bring him anywhere near you, my brother, Alfred. Don't bring him anywhere near.
we
I'm
got to
paying for
move
it.
on. Mr. Chairman, you got anything before we take our break?
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
thank you.
boss.
Thank you. Yeah, I got a lot of things. I got a lot of things, but because of time, I won't be able to say all of these things. But Alfred, thank you for the recognition. Thank that you recognize Aaron Costa as an important figure within the Unity Party. And when our brother come on here to say Costa is not a politician, it make me to think somehow. And let me just tell my brother, the people in local tour they listen to the show. The people way in the large village in Grand Bassa County, they listen to the show. That is the reason why we decide to speak so that they can understand us. So we are giving some information or we are speaking idioms here. These people will totally not understand everything that we're trying to say. And trust me, it is these people we're trying to educate to vote for a better leader. Some of us are in the diaspora, we do not have the power to vote because we don't have the time now to go by Liberia, register and vote. So we all have to just come on here, educate them, tell them the right thing to do. Henry Costa, the main contestant in District 6. How can somebody who participated in election and say they are not a politician? Henry Costa went to school. I think he did a master in criminal justice. How can you say this man is not a politician? He's just a talk show host. So let us face the reality. Let us do away with personal issues. If Henry Costa mess up, we all know that he mess up. But let's do away. Don't look at the fact and say no. He's not. He is a politician. You can't count that out. He's not just a political analyst like he used to be before when he was talk show or a political commentator, but he is a politician. That's a fact. That is a fact. And one of the things that we fail to realize is this. Unity Party have been divided into two forms since 2015. That is Unity Party or Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and then Unity Party Joseph Yumabwaka. There are real UPists. And that's one of the major problems that the Unity Party is going to face this coming election. Because those Unity partisans are still believing Ellen Johnson Sirleaf will follow the trends of.
Like me too.
Forget that thing, man. Forget that thing, my brother. Forget that thing.
Let's keep the time.
I'm concluding now. I'm concluding.
I hope y'all get my own time to conclude.
Those, yeah, they got it. I get it. So those Unity partisans that believe in Ellen, those Unity partisans that believe in Ellen will follow Ellen up to present, and those that believe in Joseph Baga will follow. So that's a big split running between the Unity partisans. That's why you see Unity partisans, they are still worried that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, she supported CDC. And we also saw a statement from Ellen recently when she talked about the airport. The moment that statement was made by her, what happened? They started pushing on Facebook again. So Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, where's your goal? Those Unity partisans that believe and support her will follow the same trends. Thank you.
No, that's not true.
Let me just say something. 1 minute, man.
Let me go to Gabriel, then you can respond to that.
Say I think Gabriel, so we can go for a break and come out.
Gabriel, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think I listened to the former minister, but one thing I would like to say, it is good that we'll never be on the same line all the times. The Afro man today, you are laughing with tomorrow, he might flip-flop tomorrow, and you will see maybe, I don't know how you will call him, I don't know why you will see.
Yeah, bro, I laugh with everybody, but don't mind me. I got different sides. Don't mind me. I got different sides.
But let me say this, Mr. Barsi, I don't want us to be oblivious about the influence of Costa into our politics. You see, CDC, they trivialize the importance of Costa. That's why today's CDCians, even George Weah, he does all his things. But he's very, very much careful with Costa because he's one guy that really make the CDC unpopular and inadvertently give leverage to Unity Party today. Because anything that Costa said, they say, I'm a business student, right? They say, the weakness of your competitor is your strength. So whenever Costa highlight the weakness of the CDC, it gives leverage to the opposition and Unity Party. Look at Ellen Johnson Sirleaf today. Most Liberians didn't know about oil. Costa was the one that really educated the people. And today, most people started talking about the oil business, this and that. And today, even most of the things, the corruption that we talk about, Ellen Johnson, this, that. Costa was one of the guys that really opened the people's eyes. Don't be oblivious of the fact again that Costa was the one who led the biggest protest, June 7 protest, that brought people outside. And I mean, the whole country was on fire and the government was panicking. So I would like to say this, Mr. Barsi, don't trivialize that guy importance.
You went to Ghana and collected Haiti.
No,
Yeah,
don't trivialize it. This guy, the same way he made UP unpopular, the same way he make CDC unpopular right now, that they even want him. Don't forget, your Kennedy had close intimacy with him. They had issue. They discussed issue. They shared documents. You are not there. You don't know what they said. You don't know what that man might come out to, or what that man might reveal. We just trying to liberate people against your Kennedy. So sometimes I don't want you people to go to the extent that we're making so angry somehow and just because the man has the power to train the Liberian people against their own leader, own politician. He has done that before.
You make him angry and see what he got.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. So
let's take the break.
Honorable, okay. So gentlemen, we're taking a little break. You can grab your water, grab your drink. To our viewers, don't go anywhere. Stay right there. We'll be right back with more fascinating discussions. Please share the podcast. Gabriel, hit the break. Thank you.
He said you'll be calm. It will be okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Giah, in the first time he had made about 20 music. Hello? Giah has made about 20 music. Giah gets on the plane anytime he wants to go and stays anytime he wants to come back. And Giah said it is okay. Yeah. If you give him second turn, he will make 30 music because he will say you were enjoying the first set of music. The only thing, however, Giah has told me, without speaking to me directly, that Dylan, you please look at me, Samuel 2, and then putting me on a hostage. You look at me and know my body language saying, you're going to put me back over there, I beg you. Let's rescue the man.
Yeah.
Two armed robbers enter a couple's home, tie the wife, tie the children, and say, Mr. My friend, one of us will go with you to the bank so you can withdraw money and give it to us. My friend will stay here with your wife and your children. If you attempt anything outside there, I will signal to my friend to kill your wife and your children. So you get it from me, let's go to the bank, you are normal to withdraw and give it to me. When I get it, I will tell my man to leave your wife and your children. And that man, on a hostage, goes to the bank and he's looking at the teller without talking, wishing that the teller is smart to know that withdrawal is not normal. That man can't report to the teller or the police because his wife and his children are in danger. So the only thing he's hoping for is the teller to just look at his body. The language that they withdraw here is not normal. Giah is the one at the bank that you're the teller. You're the teller to look at where now there's someone saying,
I mean, we need Joseph Baga on a clip too. You know, when they play about Giah.
Thank you for joining us again on the second and final half of the Diaspora Talk. And let's hope it's going to be a fascinating one as we conclude this. Back to you, Mr. CEO.
All right. Welcome back, gentlemen. I know we just had a shut-in, a group break. And hope everybody is well refreshed to come and keep the ball rolling. We'll be looking at two topics. The minister there will address it as it comes. We're looking at the financial readiness of the financial readiness of the Unity Party. We have a country that has a polling pool in every part of the country. That is every county. And looking at the integrity of the ruling establishment, it is important that every political party have a representative at these polls to represent their interests. Is the Unity Party up to that task to have whether members of the party or people who work for the party to represent them at these polls based on the not good integrity of this ruling establishment? Is the Unity Party up to that task financially? Go ahead, Mr. Minister.
That's a very good question and very sensitive too. The truth of the matter is we can do everything we want to do, but if we can protect our votes and we can have our poll watchers be regulated and trained and given the necessary equipment to make sure that we have our votes in our corners and even announce the results before Elections Commission, then that's a futile arrangement. We are ready. There are several consultations, and that's the reason why the rescue mother, Senator Yombli Kanga, is chairing this campaign. And that's the reason why the Bon County Senator, former Deputy Speaker Prince Moy, is the campaign manager. That's the reason why we have Dr. Reverend Luther Tappe as party's chairman. You would notice that we went to convention and we had new quota officers, right? Based on our experience in Lofa, we had the same experience. So when you ask the question, my mind, it's like a trigger, it's psychological. Okay, we had this experience in Lofa, that the issue of pool washers and the different trickery that the governments were involved with gave us the cause of what happened in Lofa today. We lost the senatorial seat. So we are ready. We got everything into place. The party is ready. We've already got a campaign headquarters. I don't know whether you saw that nice campaign headquarters on Facebook. We've got a whole campaign headquarters set up already, our team ready. The coordinator of the campaign team will be mobilizing forces in there. The financial office will be set up. You know, John Malu, former Auditor General, is the chairman of finance to raise funds for the party. I don't know whether you heard about that. So the people we are dealing with, they are people with very high standards, not just on politics, but on basic issues of governance. So it is, in short, I'm just letting you know, the party is already structured in the form of a governance. So we put in place a mechanism already that what we did 12 years ago, we got the same thing in place where just outside of government. And we're placing it right into the party structure to build that particular. We believe in system. Unity Party is a systemic party. We believe in system. We have conducted ourselves over the years in a way that we're not just going around making the louder noise. We got some of the brilliant people in Liberia residing in the Unity Party. The storage of reservoir and understanding and strategies reside in the Unity Party. So yes, we are ready. The mechanism into place. Yombli Kanga will lead our charge along with Senator Prim Moyi. And of course, you know, Joseph Yuma Boaka, former vice president for 12 years, be safe in public offices, a man of integrity will also be able to lobby it around with thousands of friends he have. And the fundings, including us from the diaspora, we lobby for the fundings and make sure we put it back. When I know I heard my brother ABC won't get by in government. That's why we do what we do. But it's not true, buddy. The thing is, since we left government, we have been very, very relaxed and better off than people in government. We don't even get paid for 3 months past 4 months. When I was working, I get paid on the 15th. On the 28th, my thing already in my hand. And according to that's much. Currently, the boys are struggling. Here, I get paid regularly. I'm a professional.
The men are using loan fund to pay civil
Yes,
salary.
Thank you, Honorable. So,
Man, y'all making free money in our country, man.
Gabriel, I will go up to you, Gabriel. Go ahead. What you got for the minister in terms of their readiness and preparation, or what do you see?
Man, Alfred be the last. Alfred, you know the party, man. Ain't be the last man.
I'm talking with Gabriel. I'm talking with Gabriel.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just want to ask. I mean, are you guys reaching up to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and knowing that she's one of the? I mean, she's financially healthy. She's financially strong. Is she really in support of this movement to make George Weah a one-term president? And has she committed any, financial arrangement to actually make this successful? Are you guys reaching out to her?
You have a field question. It's the question running into 3. So I wanted to respond in the affirmative, but I won't do. I will start from the last one, whether she's committed anything. No, she hasn't committed any financial will to the GMB campaign team. And not many people know that I'm a loyalist to Ellen, though. I coined the war, Ellen, Liberia's most celebrated president. Every time I used to go, she'd be smiling and be laughing. So, she never committed anything yet. Are we in touch? Yes, we are in touch. The party's leadership in touch. I remember one time on one of her birthday, Mo Ali, and then he was Secretary General, and others went to visit her. And they had conversation, including the former vice president. Yes, they are in touch. Is she in support of Joseph Yaman Boakai to make President George Weah a one-term president? That I can't speak of. Everybody has an independent mind. She's a former president. She can make a determination and decision of her own. I know she's a unity partisan. I can't take that away from her. There are different arguments on different sides, and they make their own analysis on things that they want to say. People assumed for her. But you're talking about an intelligent woman who's been in the political struggle for a very long time, who knows why it is. When it is A, she knows. When it is B, she knows. And so I have no intent to look into her mind, to read her mind, what her decisions will be. And I know I heard somebody on the platform saying when she reached on the airport, she was making emphasis. Any good leader would do that. When you travel and come back and you see something that you built on before, you see it being amplified in a different form of modernity. You want to appreciate that the issue of governance is not a fighting case. It's not a crisis within. It's about just structuring the institution in a way that people benefit the dividend of what they put in place. So she made that remark about she returned to the country, because I read that on her
Twitter page.
On Twitter. I mean, that's precedence. It never happened in the country's history before for former presidents to appreciate a certain president. So these are precedents. And that's a uniqueness of the Unity Party people, the Unity Partisan. When it is good at some point in time, analytically, without admitting, we can tell you, this is good, but you need to modify on this. But the 3 questions you asked, she's a Unity Partisan. She made no financial commitment yet. She stayed in the Unity Party corner. Whatever assumption people making of her, I can't read her mind, and I don't know why it is. I can't speak on that, but we are in good terms.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable. Mr. Chairman, what you got for
thank you. Yeah, I want to believe that Ellen Johnson said she's still on either suspension or she's been expelled from the Unity Party. So whenever she's making statement about the improvement of the CC government on our country, I do not want our brother to attach you the party to her statement. Fair enough. And then
the numbers on the screen, please, so that we can receive call while we go on with the show. Sorry, Mr. Chairman, go ahead.
The Unity Party, they are a financial handicap. They do not have money. I just don't want to use a lot of adjective on it that might sound denigrating, but they are broke. They are very much broke. They are broke in the sense that these people cannot pay. They still owe for their former headquarters. That is the McLean resident at Congo Town. They owe 100,000 of United States dollars. They cannot even clear that debt from their head. And then now you are telling us that Unity Party, they are financially strong for this election. These guys are broke. That's why Joseph Yumbaga is in America, and they are trying to have rally where they can be able to raise some money. That's why you see the try.
Is he not in the hospital?
Let me just say, because every time I try to make some, significant points, that's the time you come in to distract me, but trust my brother, concentrate on my know that I will never be distracted.
Mr. Chairman, you are protected. You are highly protected.
Every time I try to hit that,
you gotta make it show a little fun now,
every time I try to hit the man, that time man can, try to distract me. Every time I hit him, try to distract me. But
that's the beauty of the show. Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Eugene Falcon was explaining about the improvement they're gonna have. I think it's today or was it yesterday, right? How much people are paying for ticket and all the kind of stuff and for where they're going to, right? They trying to raise money. These guys are broke. These guys are hungry. That's why they're fighting hard to get government job back. My brother, the former minister, he's chopping. When he was eating during the time he was serving as a minister, he missed all those great days. He wanted to come back. That's why you see he will defend to the fullest. And they are very broke. But I just want to ask this question, and I tried to recall his face and that of his brother face in 2005, 2006 election. Ellen Snow were contesting in District 6. I was one of those that brought Ellen Snow to prominent. And I think I can recall he and his brother were also part of that team because I used to live Joba and Jersey at the time. Our organization invited Ellen Snow and he came. We met with him. We had serious discussion. Don't you feel frustrated also too, my brother? Looking at Ellen Snow, I want to believe you won't support him when he became representative. I stand to be corrected on that. And looking at Ellen Snow, lifting the hand of George Weah. Everywhere he go, he wear the cap of George Weah. And he supported Joseph Yumbaga in the 2017 election. But this time around, he decided to support George Weah. And Ellen Snow is also financially capable. He could support the Unity Party financially because they are broke. Are you frustrated on that?
I like your energy. Trust me, Chairman, I enjoy how you go around it before you come with all these snow stuff. But later, did you know that I led a snow campaign? If you were already in Joba.
Yes, that's why I said I recall you. I just said.
So snow, I know snow. I've been knowing JU, that's how we call it, JU for a long time.
Okay.
Who JU has been with, JU has never changed since the Taylor days. And since money came his way, he never changed. I'm not frustrated to see him wearing the cap of George Weah. No, I'm not. The character in question? No, I'm not. That's a waste of time if I would even get frustrated for that character, buddy. Snow is such a person that my years with him, I realized it is just all about him and his intent to be around the corridors of power. So JU will do anything, whether negative or positive, anything. For him, it's not to select positivity, anything, whether negative or politics, to get around the corridors of power. JU will do that. Did you realize how JU got around former President Henry Johnson Sirleaf? When JU was speaker, just let me get expand on that bit, Max. And JU was speaker.
Yeah, go ahead.
He was very disrespectful to former President Ellen Johnson. Said the campaign had over. Yeah, you did not give us job. We went back to
I'm
money.
sorry, Mr. Barsi, can you please call him by his the
Oh,
name we know? Yeah, me.
No, I'm sorry.
For the sake of our audience,
For the sake of our
for the sake of our
audience,
For the
audience,
integrity of our
Reverend
talk
David
show.
and
Thank you
Senator
for that
Snow.
correction, Gabriel. Thank you.
Man, you can't bring a man behind the whole knee and tell you.
Senator Snow was very disrespectful. He was former speaker during our transition in 2005. And what helped in that? With all the crises, with JU and I was the person that drove JU resignation letter across to Virginia. I drove it across and gave it to Kevin Cumming. He was presiding at the time in Virginia. So I know JU. I know Senator Snow. So for Senator Snow to be vaccinating right now and moving about from place to place is just about the corridor of power. When he's in that gap, that's his comfortability. If he believes in himself. So 2011, Senator Snow came alongside with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He decided to act like he was a friend because he later realized that he was losing his dignity and they were going after him. So I'm not frustrated. That's the character I'm talking about. It's a character who very inconsistent. It's not about the decision he will make for the people's interest. The financial influence. And you were in District 6, like you just said, a financial influence and how he can meticulously put it through to survive the status quo for his own influence, his own power, his own ability to exploit the Liberian people's situation. That's Senator Snow. I'm not frustrated. But don't get me wrong. Few months ago, when he realized that the tree would pick up and he saw the magnanimity of former vice president. You listen to him, I think he came on one show or he had some program and he admitted that he went to the former vice president play in Bombay to greet him. It was not just about greeting, buddy. It was just Senator Snow knowing what he does best. The train has moved and he was trying to get connected because he foresee. Look, Senator Snow was supporting the Unity Party. I was on that campaign team, but he had an alignment with the current president while they were in the opposition, and he was building a block there. So when President George Weah won, he found his way right there. The same he's doing with Unity Party right now. He's not supporting us, but he has a serious alignment with people within our corridor. I'm not frustrated, Chairman. That's what
Thank you, So, to our viewers, the number is on the screen right there. You can please place your call if you want to, as the discussion is ongoing. You can place your call and speak to the honorable, or make your comments. The numbers are right there on the screen. Gabriel, if you can put that in the comment section, because I know sometimes some people don't see it on the screen. That will also be good. I also want to recognize my sister Christina Fodder, who's just one of our powerful Iron Lady on the Diaspora Talk, and she's here. Christina, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. CEO.
Good. So we have
welcome, because all I told you was about Chairman and Abraham and Susu men I see all there. The faces were like, okay, why do you got that gender?
No. We got a lot of powerful Iron ladies here. Mercy, I don't know, she's not here. Mercy was here to go for y'all because she's a sedition, and y'all are going to have some serious issue here. But unfortunately, she's not here today. But Mercy will be back someday in the future when we get you back. She was going to hold you by the neck, and trust me, she's tough too. So yeah, we have a lot. We have Victoria, a lot of powerful Iron ladies on this show, and like I said, in the future we'll bring you back, and you have to interact.
That's good.
So Christina, you heard the minister. I know you've been following. We lost that call. There was a call from Liberia. But let's keep the ball rolling. Again, the numbers are there. Please call on WhatsApp or the US number if you're in the US, and please make your comments and speak to the minister on the issue pertaining to the Unity Party. Chris, the minister is here. He's a member of the Unity Party. We're looking at the preparation of the Unity Party for the upcoming elections. We have elections just 3 months away. We're looking at right now. We're discussing how prepared they are financially when it comes to the election day. We need pool washers in every pool center in the country. Are they prepared financially? Are they ready, to pay their supporters or their partisans to represent them to watch this pool? Because looking at the integrity of this, the sitting government, which is not good, that we know, are they looking at that as a very serious concern? That's why we're discussing. The minister just propounded on some of the questions, and you can go ahead.
Yes, I would like to welcome you, Mr. Sofika Barsi.
You know that Rixck says
Rixck here, not Sofika.
Oh, Rixck. Oh, sorry.
Sofika chairman a minute.
I got nobody, brother. I got nobody. Only la brag here.
About the Unity Party being prepared. The Unity Party is prepared. They are prepared because I know that Unity Party have participated in electoral process before, and they do know how expensive elections are. So taking that into consideration, their preparedness. Oh, my people, I will go off soon. Their preparedness, I know that they are 100% prepared for this election and waiting to pay their pool washers and what have you. So,
all right. I know we lost Chris over there. Mr. Alfred, you heard the minister, and we're still looking at the readiness of the Unity Party in terms of poll washers, and I know you also support the Unity Party now. So what do you guys make of it? Do you have comment? Do you have question for the minister in terms of what are the strategies that they are putting in place to, even though he spoke on a lot of it? But go ahead.
Let me say this to you. Political campaign or political electioneering is expensive. It has to do with money. No one goes to election with the mindset that they are going with their head up the days and not being prepared. Okay? Information dissemination, the regalia, everything that has to do with election is expensive. So I'll first like to abuse the mind that people have that.
Mr. Alfred, let me hold you 1 minute. I got this caller from Liberia, and caller, your name and where you call from.
My name is Umba MCC, calling from Monrovia, Liberia.
Go ahead, you are live.
Minister, thank you very much. I'm calling from Matali. I'm from the MCC, calling from Matali. Minister, thank you very much to defend Liberia. You defend Liberia. You not defend yourself, Liberia. Liberia, you defending them. Somebody don't know. You know, the way you do it, thank you very much. The only thing I want to say, thank you, Prince.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I got another call. Caller, your name and where you call from.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. You're live. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Morris Johnson.
Go ahead, Morris.
My name is Morris Johnson. I'm calling from North Carolina.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to tell the minister thank you for all his good job he is doing. And surely 2023, this election, we're going to carry.
Morris, are you there?
Yeah, I am here.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. We got other callers.
Yeah, I am saying surely 2023, we're going to win this election, UP. I know that it's going to be, yeah, I'm here. It's going to be tough, but we're going to win. We're going to win the election, trust me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Morris. Go ahead, Alfred.
Like I was saying, I just like to disabuse the minds of people who think that Joseph Boaga is broke or the Unity Party is broke. The preparation started since 2020.
Pay your debt before when you're not broke.
If you can
Let chairman, we
recall,
can do cross talking. Let him speak.
in fact, let me say this. You know, we have to be transparent here. Okay, election is not individualistic; it's a collective effort. Okay, so if I sit in here, I'm a potential voter and I believe in an ideology of an individual who is running in the election, it behoves my moral duty to join the effort. If that has to be with my financial support, if that has to be with my flesh and body to be there, that all counts. So that we said to you, the Unity Party is ready. There's no time to be talking about broke. Because even in America where we are right now, billionaire Donald Trump is seeking for campaign fund. Go on the website. Go on Donald Trump website. You will see it there. He's seeking for campaign fund. So for people to come here and say, oh, the Unity Party go and Joseph Newman Boga go in America to solicit fund. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. Okay? So whether or not Mr. Boga is in America to solicit fund for his campaign purpose, there's nothing wrong with that. So those of you who are on the fence and saying that instead of joining the tree, so that we can move this nightmare that all our country and saying that, oh, the papa is broke, the old man is broke, he doesn't have money, they can't look for money all around. You're wasting your time because the strategies are in place. And come October 10, the election is a first round knockout. So those of you who sitting on the fence, you'll be sitting on the fence. The tree is passing. And the good thing about the tree is this. The good thing about the tree is this. It's open to everyone. All the stations along the road, the tree is stopping for at least 1 hour 45 minutes to give people the benefit of the doubt that you are welcome on the tree. So we are even welcoming those that say, oh yeah, the papa say he get heart problem, he get it one, he want to take 30 minutes out to get Wologisi Mountain, all I want there. We still open the door for y'all to come so that we can sit down and build a country together because the vision is think Liberia, love Liberia, build Liberia. There's no one, no foreigner going to come to Liberia to build Liberia, but Liberians.
I will give Alfred, you'll get your time back. We got a caller on the line. Call your name and where you call from.
Hello, my name is James Clecco. I'm calling from Columbus, Ohio.
Please be a little audible. Go ahead, James.
My name is James Clecco. I'm calling from Columbus, Ohio.
Go ahead.
I would like to thank the minister, Rixck Giah.
Okay.
Barsi Giah said you're a brilliant guy. I know Barsi Giah.
Mm-hmm.
And I can show your chairman down. Your chairman know what he's talking. No political.
I mean, you want to be disrespectful, we'll take it, we'll hang on our call. You gotta know how I'm talking.
Lincoln.
Whoever the call should not be disrespectful. Let me make it point. Don't tell me I don't know why I'm talking. Don't take that from the caller. No. But he's being disrespectful. Anybody don't know why I'm talking.
Let him speak.
Yeah, then correct the caller before he can speak. Let him make a point, and he should not tell me I don't know why I'm talking.
No, I will not take insults, but he can speak. Let him speak. If he say that to me, I'm fine.
Why you know the party will not win election in this country?
Okay, Lincoln, we're not doing confrontation. Please, let him speak. Let him speak. Go ahead. You are protected. Go ahead.
But he's trying to say, oh, that Unity Party is broke.
Go ahead.
Unity Party, our party is well structured. I can show you the 2023 election will win the election because your citizen put on the show down there. That put us point our country.
Go ahead.
You see, Barsi Giah is discussing about Liberia, and Alfred is discussing about Liberia. It's not individual judge here. So I can show you the 2023 election will win the election. Joseph Boga, the next president of Liberia.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy.
So yeah, so like I was saying, right? The tree is moving, and we're giving everybody the benefit of the doubt to every stop station. The tree gonna stop, and we're gonna allow you to vent all your anger. We're gonna allow you to say what you have to say, and then we say, my man, welcome on board. We hear you. We hear you. Welcome on board because that tree is not stopping. So for those of you who think that will be distracted by state, a lot of gibberish on Facebook, and people will be distracted by that. I'm so moved by the intelligence of Joseph Yuma Boakai that he takes his time. He takes his time to address issues. And I was so excited. I was so excited to see the vice president appearing briefly on Spoon TV to talk about his granddaughter who got married on yesterday and celebrating 51 years of holy matrimony with his wife, Mrs. Katumu Boakai.
Yeah, from the hospital, the woman came from the hospital. They are PS small.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alfred. So we let me speak to the chairman a little before I recognize my sister Mercy. Mr. Chairman, I think one thing we don't take on this show is insults. You're a soldier.
But T-Max, when a caller make a call and saying that I don't know what I'm saying, you should correct the caller.
That's
no, but that's how insult come about. You don't know what going to be the next one behind it. So it's better the caller comes on, address the issue than saying that I don't know what I'm saying.
We'll move forward.
Also, because I'm not supporting Joseph Baga and me, I know what I'm saying.
We'll move forward. I'm not supporting anybody either, but we'll move forward. But if anybody pick up this phone and insult, the first thing is the shutting off. But somebody
says, that's how it starts. That's how it starts. So you always watch the
if somebody call and tell me as a CEO, I don't know what I'm talking, that's fine.
No, I'm good. Of
course, my parents or call somebody, they're going off.
That's how the party people behave. We know them, my brother. It's okay. We know them.
I take us in that. Lincoln,
we know them. We know them.
You're good.
Yeah, the party supported on the show. Yeah, we are very much meticulous in our articulation. So you can't say that how you can't generalize us here.
I'm doing. Oh man, I say I'm good, my brother. I'm good.
My chairman, the man stays doing scissor swing here. So, but we're getting later.
You gotta remove yourself from that cognitive dissonance. You gotta get on the tree.
What train? I don't want to get on rapping train, brother. Don't tell me about train, man.
Go back to the show.
That make it rate. You want to get on make it rate. That thing gonna make it rate. The woman can't get on better. I can make it on make it rate.
The chairman, we
which one again, like brother? Which one, like brother?
That's chairman. You're eating your time. I will call you off. So we gotta move on. We got our sister, the Iron Lady for the Diaspora Talk. I told you, Honorable, the Iron Lady on this show, they're not small, they're powerful people. Unfortunately, everybody got business schedule. But when this show is full packed, you're in trouble. But I want to welcome our sister and our Iron Lady, Mercy Tutu Bro, in the great state of Minnesota. She's back. She's here. Welcome, Mercy. Happy to see you here today. Mercy, are you there?
Yes, I said thank you, T-Max. You hearing me?
Okay, I just getting you now. Yeah.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. We're glad to see you here. I know sometimes because of busy schedule, our panelists sometimes come a little late, Honorable. So I hope you to do with that, and but again, we're happy that you are here, and like you can see, your audience, the callers, they are all calling and telling you are doing a good job for the Liberian people, and I appreciate that. Iron Lady, now we're back in the house now. No fire about the place. You heard the minister defending the former vice president, and the reason he's the candidate to take charge for the next 6 years. I know you support the CDC. You're a staunch supporter of the President We Are movement, and you got an opposition in studio today, former deputy minister for technical affairs, Honorable Barsi guy. He's here. He's propounding. He's telling us their level of preparation to unseat the ruling establishment. What do you make? Do you have questions, comments for the minister? Go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Minister. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you. As we all know, we have already been seeing a lot of momentum going on in Liberia. We see the morale of the CDC-led government. Finance is not our problem right now.
There you go.
Even the minister himself is living in denial as we speak when it comes to the presidential elections comes 2023, October 10th. he know that President Weah is going to be a 6 or 12-term leader. He know that. But when you are in denial, it's so complicated to admit the fact. I'm not here to bring the UP party down to tell the public that they don't have money. Because when a man goes to the market, he knows that in the market, goods are exchanged. So I know they have their money. But what I do know, that CDC will win the election flat. We are seeing it. It's glaring. The camp that is the confusion that is in the opposition camp. Look, guys, I always told you people, the division among those people cannot take them anywhere until they can fix it. Your home is not in order, but you are focusing on another man's home, the man who is in order, the man who has his thing together. You are there focusing on that man. Focus on yourself. Fix your wrong. Fix your greed. And leave the other man. CDC is going to win. Whether you like it or not, the honorable minister sitting there knows the fact. But that guy is living in denial, people. So let's just get rid of that whole thing. The better we live and understand and accept the fact, the better we move on with sweet mama Liberia instead of we be living in denial. Giah is ready to move his people for another 6 years. And the people of Liberia have accepted their son again. And we're seeing it all around the place. It's just that you guys don't want to accept the fact. President Weah is going to be the president again, period.
So, and thank you that the minister will be back. I think he's trying to get some together.
Yeah.
Minister,
the minister is fully aware. He's fully aware. He knows that, but the minister is living denial.
Well, he's not aware. He's not aware as per your idea. So he's aware.
Man, you want to talk about the man, or you want to join United Party too? You can tell, brother.
I don't know why he's talking for the minister. The minister there can talk.
If you may,
these are two.
let me quickly respond.
All right, before the minister responds, let's take this call.
Our sister just made.
You guys are not even protecting me. Every time I come on this platform, I'm not protected.
If you give me some of your time, let me respond quickly to.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, 1 minute. Go ahead, Maurice.
Okay.
I'm hearing myself. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want for us to tell me what I just want her to tell me what the CDC government did in the past 6 years that George Weah would be re-elected.
Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Minister, I'm coming, sir. Let me set good, then I can answer your question.
Before the minister, before the minister respond, the caller just asked a question directly to you. I don't know if you heard it or you want me to repeat the question. All right. She's a little bit busy or trying to get.
No, I'm here. Can the minister ask that question? I want to hear the voice of the minister asking a question.
No. The minister is a guest. The minister is not going to ask you a question. You're supposed to ask him a question or make a
I thought you were asking me questions.
You just had a caller.
Yeah.
No, he's not asking you. He's responding to whatever you say. He's the guest. He's not the guest. So, but you had a caller who called and asked you a question directly.
Okay. What was that question, people?
Konowa just said it.
What has George Weah done that you want him to retain himself?
Konowa, can you please repeat? Maybe she didn't get it.
The caller called and said, tell her what Georgia has done for 6 years.
Okay. Thank you for the question, Mr. Caller.
Okay, you got 1 minute to respond. Go ahead.
George Weah have done greatly for Mama Liberia. Where George Weah have gained popularity for the people of Liberia. We talk about the vulnerable adults. We all know in the Western world, when we talk about vulnerable adults, Those people are very important in society. See what Joshua is doing back there. Building old folks home. The last time we had a better argument concerning the old folks home here, you guys said it was lie. Go to Buchanan is there. Go to Grand Crew is there. Nuclear Town is there. That alone is enough. See what he's doing for people. See the educational sector. Even though we have people messing some things up, but see, school fees is no longer bothering family members anymore. Just we are paying for wire. These things are things that make the people, the parents, the children attracted to the CDC-led government. He's doing extremely well. Once you're opposition, you're never going to accept the fact. But trust me, he's doing well. George Weah is doing well in that country. Color.
Thank you. That was the Iron Lady right there. You see, I told you, Honorable, we got Iron Lady in the place here. The Diaspora Talk is powerful, though. You see, she's defending her party. Go ahead, Honorable Minister. You can respond.
Thank you, Timas, and good morning, Mercy. I like your energy.
Morning, Honorable.
The feminist aspect of that zealous momentum comes from the female. I admire them. Unfortunately for her, she's on the wrong side of today's history. So hard times that you realize that Liberians themselves are tired. The economy of the country is in shambles. The infrastructure is backward. Mama and Papa, they both, one of them not even coming home. It's hard times that you guys agree that building a park for recreation center has incentives. You can have a recreation center when people cannot even get their pay on time. Civil 7 to nothing. The nurses cannot get paid. The education system you're talking about, there's nothing happening. Everything is just on a January festivity. That's what the citizens having. So for you to say that George Weah will have a second term, that's a misapplication of history. George Weah ain't going nowhere. It's over. It's over. The thing is not about Joseph Yuma Bwaka. It is about the Liberian people. This election is just about the Liberian people. Even in my party's chat room, I say the same thing to them. Joseph Bwaka is just a vehicle, the tool that we're using and ushering him to remove George Weah for a better Liberia. We don't have time. Time is not in our favor. Liberia going below the belt. It's just enough to keep that blue berets and blue t-shirts around. It's just enough. They can be used for different occasions, for political purposes, to get back to that mansion. It's hard times we see the fight. And financially, we're ready. I know that question comes first, and the CEO team asked the same question. We are stable. And I just like your example, like, nobody will go to the market. I won't go to the market, purchase food, so you got money to purchase the gravy. And for real, we do have our standing, and we are ready for these elections. For second term, no, that's a no for George Weah. There's a no for CDC. It's a no for these thieves that are building their houses in 3 months' time. I mean, in the world, you just pray to tell me which one of the country's president, pray to tell me. Rhetorical, not for you to answer. Which one of the country's president, after transitioning and build economy in 3 months' time? I mean, don't answer. I already know the answer. Which country's president will build 42 houses in 3 months' time? Where? Which country minister of state will build a very big mansion to VOA in 4 to 5 months' time? Which country senate mayor, whoever had $100 as a pay, move into Cinco and purchasing people's houses? Which country minister will go Broadway and build almost 50 houses? Which country deputy finance minister of revenue will go and be purchasing people's houses on the old road where he lived before? Things happening in Liberia, the children can say. Things are really happening in Liberia. It's hard times. Georgia have to go. He will be a former president. We'll respect that. Immunities will be given to him, though he did respect in the offices of others. but we won't do that. If that's what you guys are afraid of, though we will not hesitate to prosecute those that are already criminally addicted to thievery. We will not hesitate to get into the corridors of the judiciary system. But yes, we're ready. And George, we are a president. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. So before we go to our last topic, Mr. Chairman, after you're mute, all the things you're talking, nobody can hear you.
Please let me respond. I beg you. Please let me respond.
Okay, you got 2 minutes. Hit the ball.
Thank you.
That's good.
Thank
Keep
you.
it rolling.
Joshua is doing well by killing 4 auditors.
Is that Joshua that killed the 4 auditors? I disagree. You will not say such a thing about the president. You are not going to say such a thing about a seated president. That's a no-go.
Joshua is doing well.
Alfred,
that's a no.
Alfred,
yeah.
Alfred, 1 minute. Let me lay the basis here. Barsi, when your fellow panelist is speaking, he's speaking. Let him learn. You will have the time to respond. You don't have to be honor talking him. We don't do the honor talking here. You know, when I'm hosting, I don't do that. Let him learn. He can even say the most terrible thing. I will give him 1 minute. Okay, go ahead, Alfred. Protected. Go ahead.
Let me say again, Joshua is doing well by sitting there as president. 4 of our highly trained, educated Liberian citizens died mysteriously. Joshua is doing well when 3 of our citizens got missing mysteriously. Joshua is doing well when Prince Cooper was killed, and today there's no justice. Joshua is doing well when our people in the southeast, my man, please play the picture there, man. When people are talking, we play the picture so people can see.
Alfred, you got 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Joshua is doing well when our people in the southeast, right now, there is no mobility. People don't move all around. He calls himself bad road medicine. In 5 years, I agree. He's a bad road medicine because if you go in the southeast today, our people are stranded. They are stranded. Hey, man, please put the picture up, please.
Which picture, brother? Which picture? Speak, bro.
Pull it up. People can
Alfred.
But man, when I hear those, you can be speaking.
Let me say this.
Oh, my poor picture.
Yeah, with balance.
When the least in 2017, we're making $150 and receiving it on time. But today, our people are receiving less than $45 as a monthly salary. Joshua is doing. He only recently recognized that the harmonization was a project to put our people into deeper poverty. Right now, as we speak, over I still be correct on the number. Over 2 million Liberian people are in abject poverty. 2 million of Liberian people are in abject poverty. That means they can't find a daily meals for the day that is less than $1 a day. They can't find it. That's how Joshua is doing well. Joshua is doing well when you have people going in the street to attack other people just because they went there.
Thank you, Alfred. Thank you. Your time is off, Alfred. Mercy, I give you 1 minute to respond. Go ahead.
Okay, let me respond. Let me debunk what all he said.
Yeah, go ahead.
Calling a seated president a murderer. I'm not going to even argue on that because you don't have any documentary evidence concerning President Weah being the killer of the auditors. I understand the auditors died the way they were not supposed to die, but the president did not kill them. I understand how Princess Cooper died. I am a woman, I am a mother. But do not say things that you don't have proof of, Konoa. Those things haunt you in the future. You all who go ahead spoiling people's names, saying all kinds of horrible things about people, mind you, these things are all recorded. And they keep them for future purposes. And let me come to you and tell you something that you don't know, Konoa. You talking about President Weah, the core president, we are borrow medicine. When the UP-led government was in that country for 12 years, what the debt for that country? You guys are all over the place making confusion. What the President Johnson did for that country? What she do? You talking about road connectivity? The steam road wasn't there during the George Weah 6 years. What happened in Maryland County to River G County? The roads are paid from that side connecting. What do you want for President Weah to do? If you want to measure arm with President Weah regime and Ellen Johnson, what did Ellen Johnson do? Why didn't the UP government pave the roads before they left? And everything you want to blame it on President Weah. President Weah came in power when Liberia had nothing in her purse. Where is the money coming from that you want him to use to transform Liberia in the twinkle of an eye? You guys are opposition, so I understand your point. Your point is to what to demean the city government. That's what oppositions do. So I'm not going to waste my breath to talk about you talking about President Weah is a killer.
Thank you.
I disagree upon that. You need to retract that statement. You are honorable man. You are educated man. I see you one day becoming a leader in Liberia. You don't have no business saying this on the public media.
Thank you, Mercy. We're not too personal. We're discussing the issues. Let's keep it as it is. And let's keep the ball rolling. The honorable minister is here. Honorable Minister, we'll delve into our last topic before we call it a day. And
but you're coming to me now. Let me conclude because I have to go to Max.
Yeah, sorry. You see, when the play get heated now, we get a little off. Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, let me just make this point because I have to leave you guys, gentlemen. I got to get the family ready for service, and I beg to leave you guys right after that. Make this statement, right? But there is something we should understand, and I just wish Afra and that of our guests can retrospect, right? During the time of Ellen, we had the armed forces of Liberia making nothing less than 81 United States dollars. The police, all the agencies there in the country, right? They were making nothing much. One of the things we fail to realize is this, right? The Western world we live in, president will come and go, but the system remains. It does not change. It is true that we all frown on all of these murder cases there in our country, but when you have a system set up, you don't need a president to get himself involved into murder cases. Where you and I live in Western world, when somebody shoots somebody somewhere around the corridor, right? What happened? It's not the president that gets himself involved. It is the justice system. You see police on the scene. They will apprehend that person, take them to court, and that's why they continue. So when you have the system being set up, like our brother wanted to brag, about Ellen Johnson said he took a country from nowhere to somewhere. Then we should have a system set up where when these things happen, if we properly investigate, their findings come up, and then at the end of the people be prosecuted. Ellen Johnson said we saw a lot of rape cases went on. The late Inja Tokba. Where did that case go today? Harry Grief. A lot of killing went on. So let us not just put it on just the Judge Weah government because yes, we don't want Judge Weah in the power today. All of these things happen from even the Doe time, the Judy Bryant time. It just keep happening. So it's very important for us to work together as people of that love that country to have a better system that will defend you and myself. I tell everyone also on here, brother, I want a better Liberia. When we have a better Liberia tomorrow, you and I in the Western world will have peace of mind. Some all receive tons of calls from family back home asking for help, friends and all. Because why? There's no job, nothing there for them. So when Liberia becomes stable, my brother, we will have peace of mind. When we have our brothers and sisters back home making at least $300 or $400 US, we will not have to screen ourselves to say I will live $50 or $100. We want the best for our country. So the best we can do, to conclude, the best we can do is to put Liberia first. Today, people are saying Jose Baga, who served long period of time.
I'm hanging there.
But all the period of time he served, there's no better example, no improvement, nothing that we see that we say, yeah, this is what Jose Baga did. We're not talking about his experience, his integrity, XYZ, but there's no trademark. There's no trademark. We want the best for our country, and I just wish we can keep pushing our country forward. Gentlemen, thank you, man. What's next? Having you guys discussing together.
Thank you. Call your name and where you call from.
Well, I'm Nathaniel Bailey calling from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Go ahead.
Yes. I just want to tell all of our brothers and sisters in Liberia that this Boaka, he's not the right person. In the sense that he was vice president, and then he looked at Eddie Jones said I mean, he took the quota. She took the quota from Maryland to Rivergy. It's not bad, but the quota is supposed to start from Atlanta to where he stopped to go straight to Maryland. And Joseph Boga, he didn't say nothing. And then again, the development that is going on in Lofa. Now, that is going on, or the development that went on in when the time he was vice president, and the time and the current vice president, when you compare them, the current vice president is talking more than Joseph Boakai. Joseph Boakai, he was vice president, nothing happened in Lofa County, and this other vice president, something massive development going on in Bon County, and he was quiet throughout. So he said that when you were vice president, you were okay. The vice president had no voice. So what happened to the vice president before? A massive development going on in her county, and then when Joseph Boakai was vice president, nothing was going on. So I want to advise all of my brothers and sisters in Liberia there to shine their eye for President Giah, because Joseph Boakai mean well for Liberia people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother. All right, Honorable, you wanna respond before we move forward? We will soon be wrapping up.
Yeah, sometimes our fellow Liberians don't really realize why it takes to be a Liberian. A bit of imagination for somebody to call and say, in a man he disregards Joseph Boakai, former vice president of Liberia. And he thinks that George we are supposed to be re-elected. I don't know on what grounds, because he did not set that premise. But it's unfortunate that people were still at this time.
Well, maybe you didn't get him, but let me put what he was saying. He said on the Ellie, Mr. Boakai said he was okay park in the garage, but under President Giah,
I got that part.
Yeah, well is doing good in Bon County as vice president. So
yeah,
what was different? And I think that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, that's the part I was trying to get to, because I was just trying to lay a premise. Because if he talk about what's different is that you have a current vice president who thinks giving handouts and moving about from community to community and not trying to build a society that Liberians in general could benefit from. When you start to do partitioning in governance, you try to divide the society and forget about the bigger picture. We're talking about Liberia here, 15 counties. So just for instance, every government official will be going back to the county. The national budget that under the Constitution should be utilized for the people's benefit. And Joe Howard Taylor getting $2 million plus from that money, taking the people money only to Bon County. Don't you think that's an affront and disrespect to the Constitution? How the quarter doesn't know that the national budget should be utilized for national agenda? And he just shot himself in the leg that Joe Howard Taylor is going to Bon County and helping people and being selective. So what happened with Grand Barsi? How is the national budget affecting Grand Barsi? What happened with Grand Crew? How is the national budget affecting Grand Crew? What happened with Cape Man? How is the national budget affecting Cape Man? Suppose President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has just focused on bombing. With the country's money, CEO, you tell me, you pray, tell me. The country's money, at the time, $500 million budget, and take a put money and go to bomb and bombing, and go to Sinjay, and go to the different areas, and decide to utilize the people money for a sector benefit, so as to make your image in your mind, you're making your image good for political reasons. I think that quarter doesn't understand what governance is. A government is an agency of a true issue is command and wishes and purposes. So that's the people's interest. It's not Bon County interest. So he doesn't understand. He need to advise her to even start, because somebody can even call her on the impeachment table using the national budget for one county. I mean, you should be sitting in front of Capitol building and the guys investigating why are you using the national budget and the country's money for Bon County and not for the entire nation.
Thank you, Honorable. Gabriel, can you read a few of our comments before we
Yeah, okay, I will just start from down. We get Nat Newman Bailey say this show is all about praising the former UP minister, the former UP minister. Please, I just want to know. I don't really know what he meant. So we have Darlington Deba. He said, Mr. Basikia, how are you doing? My brother, long time no see. My ERWA brother. And we have Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We right now.
We have Emmanuel Jesse say, my worry is that election credibility and integrity. There is potential conflict of interest and actual conflict of interest. Yeah, there is potential conflict and actual conflict of interest. The election is a former baby mother. The election commissioner is a former baby mother of Giah, and she was recently accused of malpractices. Why the opposition failed to act? So we have Sam Fan said, good morning, brothers, watching you from Jamaica. And we have Darlington, that's a Daniel Gibbons, Kekula said JMB all the way. And he also said, he is telling you just what you understand. Everything was broken down. We just came from war. Okay. So we have former CCC. Thanks very much for that information. God will bless you and God will bless you and again. CDC, ANC, and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, they are one family. Everybody knows that they are fighting against Joseph Newman Boakai. And anyhow, JMB is the next president of Liberia. No noise. So we have working duo. Is it? So how much civil servant were making during Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government, and how much service that's a civil servant we're making now? I know you won't. You meant to say I'm making now, gentlemen. We need to be fair to each other. So the other one said, Mr. Basiga is very brilliant and he's articulating the issue. And he's powerful, and I'm not sure you guys about him. Okay. So far, so good, gentlemen. That's it.
Thank you. So before we wrap up, we want to delve into our last discussion before we let go our minister. I know he has some other stuff to do. But we'll be looking at security, which is one of the most paramount issue when it comes to elections, right? Mr. Minister, we have election on hand. Looking at the George Weah-led government and the strength of our security, we're talking about the paramilitary, which is the police, the immigration, and other services. Do you have the confidence that the upcoming election, that this current government can provide the level of security that we expect to every polling center in the counties, that the election will be free and fair? Go ahead, Honorable.
Okay, CEO, T-Max. I mean, you brilliantly put all the inquiries together, I think, for the purpose of Liberians themselves that are listening to understand why it's like and how important it is in the various sector. Do I believe that for security? No, I don't. Case in point, Lofa. Our people need so that to Liberians. They don't even know when to reference or to give example of things that are happening. The last elections in Lofa, the security of a country were in the hands of seditions. I saw on the internet the pickups, police pickups, immigration pickups, ushering sedition, driving them to areas where they could vote. And of course, discarding the Unity Party voters and trying to block them to move about, because in these interior areas, you don't have a motorbike or vehicle to move around. And when the security sector is a hurdle, it is a problem. In these elections, if the CDC government dare tamper with the elections and the security, the CDC security, they don't provide the necessary guardians and protection for the citizens. I bet their mandate, there will be crisis. We can't mince our words on that. The people in tired. And the reason there will be democratic crisis because President George Weah will be violating the Constitution because the security of the country should be protecting and providing security for the well-being of Liberians. You realize when Chris Mazako, voting director, we have several elections, and the Justice Ministry have to join security. Fortunately, I was at that point, so I know what's up. And every contestant or those who are aspiring, we provide security for them. To their homes, we provide security for them. Everywhere they go campaign, we provide security for them. Even the 2014 elections, President George Weah was campaigning against former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's son. Robert Sirleaf was in that elections. The same police director today, his code was 142, something like that. 142 in the police. His whole department was assigned to President George Weah. They were protecting a home. They were providing security for the boys. They were providing security for him. Imagine a governing party providing security for the opposition and their family during elections time. We want to see happening in these elections. If it doesn't happen, it's a credibility issue. We have not experienced the goodness before. It has always been in the form like they provided security for the government or CDC or one of CDC's members. They send out these guys to cause trouble, and they want to trouble like they beat the university student to the Mama Point. You are providing security for the CDC COP instead of providing security for the citizens that were beaten and taken into the hospital. They didn't do that. I don't trust the system, CEO. I don't believe that the security of Liberia will be available to every aspirant, contestants, or presidential candidates. That is a constitutional issue. The president should take that and take note of that. I don't trust the system, but we will test the system because that Democrats and our international partners will be there to monitor that.
Thank you, Honorable. Gabriel, what you got?
Yes,
looking at the current establishment, do you trust the current establishment with security in terms of the upcoming election? What do you have for the minister? Go ahead.
Yes, I can still find on how let's look at the credibility of the director Lasana. I can still find on how up to now people within the opposition has never, declared a vote of no confidence in her, in dealing with her, because there's a woman that has, clearly she shows some level of conflict of interest. She awarded a contract to her brother. And secondly, she was built up by Musa Belete to just show that she's working with Musa Belete. All of those things, you guys are just sitting there tight-lipped and thinking that everything is going to be well. What are you guys doing about these things? These are signs to show that, these people are somehow aligned. They are aligning, or they are somehow mingling or taking instruction from the governing party. Do you guys really have the confidence in her for her to conduct these elections? Knowing that she has that kind of dark cloud over her and no one is saying anything?
And like you laid emphasis, the conflict of interest issue, she should have been fired. Yeah. But it's a prerogative of the president. Even if the legislatures come together, the Senate, and say for the no confidence, it's not binding by the Constitution. There's no statutory laws for that. It is just administrative decision that are going to take. The first gamble they had was to resent her when she was appointed. If they didn't confirm her, that's the only power, the constitutional power they have. That whole no confidence is a charade when the president doesn't seem to realize or believe in the legislature. The president is the president. That authority to appoint and dismiss is constitutional. So if you put in a vote of no confidence with the time, the opposition been striking that. Even the Vice President Giah challenged the credibility of the Election Commission and said that they were dwindling. They were doing all the wrong things to please George Weah. And there were arguments even on the Elections Commission themselves, with some of them on the Elections Commission complaining that this lady needs to leave. I know that lady was in court. That lady conflict of interest is not just with her family member.
It went far beyond connecting with the ANC, with Musa Beriti, a mercenary politician, beating her to get out of some little issues that she had. You see the criminality in the Elections Commission. You can see the violations in the Elections Commission. You can see the lack of respect for the citizens and the democracy that we are trying to protect. The citizens are angry. They can't do anything. Liberia is at peace. We don't want to go back to the dark days. Those days were bad.
The citizens angry. I see joy in the citizen, Minister.
Right there. And allow the Elections Commission.
Barsi, let him speak, please. Your time.
They're sitting there. It's a long gone issue. We shouldn't even be mentioning the woman in right around government yet, on the conversation.
Sure.
Why?
Thank you.
We have British under the that authority.
Thank
you.
you.
We watch the process with key eyes, and our people monitor it. President John should be very careful and hospitable for democracy because we not complain. No time.
Thank you. Alfred, we're discussing security. You've been there, you know. We've been there.
So you're prepared. Even when you win.
What do you think, Alfred? What's your take? Do you have something for the minister, or do you have something to say?
When you win flat, Minister, you're prepared.
Mercy, you have your time. Don't worry, Iron Lady.
Let me change that law. I can speak on the platform.
Iron Lady, don't worry.
Your time will come. Why you try? Why easier late too late? Why are you easier late too late?
The honor party is the one on the team, you know, because when I get time,
why don't watch easier late too late? Don't be easier late too late.
Alfred,
we see right here.
Alfred, you coming? Ain't you be ref tomorrow? You
so
coming?
So let me say the intents of the question you asked. You know, the police director, the police inspector general is a partisan police inspector general.
Look at all things.
There is numerous evidence. Even the special security service that's supposed to constitutionally protect the president, they have become partisan, evident by the fact that these people, when the president was launching to show himself that he still have popularity in most of our country, the pictures are there, documentary evidence are there. You see special security services in CDC regalia behind the president with a weapon. Then you ask me whether the CDC government is ready in terms of providing security in this election. If you ask me to that, I will tell you, say zero. Because if we can have our police, the inspector general, who is a partisan police, you have our special security service that provides protection to the president. All of them have become partisan. Do you think these people are willing to protect the integrity of our elections? That anybody that think that they will be doing that, you will be deluding yourself. It is about time that we raise the red flag so that our international partners can know that we are taking judicial notice of this government in terms of its behavior when it comes to election. We saw what happened in District 15. The records are there. We saw what happened in District 13 when Jefferson Koji, who is now city mayor, got a group of thugs and carried in District 13. They almost killed Senator Kanga Lawrence. They almost killed Konina Pratopa. Evidence by what they did in District 13. I don't want to talk about the president himself when he announced that TDI should be beaten. And you saw what happened. So I am not going to delude myself here and sit down and say the president and his security forces are ready to provide the necessary constitutional moral duty in terms of protecting our democratic process. I do not believe it. So it is incumbent. It is incumbent on the political leaders, Joseph Yuma Boakai, the communists, all of them are running to become president in this country, to see reason to come together to make sure that they have one voice when it comes to the issue of election. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's Alfred Konoa there, one of our powerful panelists. Now we go to the Iron Lady herself, Joe Mego.
So I believe the minister sitting here, if the minister were fortunate to be part of the CDC-led government today, he wouldn't have sat here to bring down the CDC-led government. That's what happens if you're not part of certain things. When you are not in certain positions,
Marcy,
because
we're
I know
discussing
as a
security.
We're discussing security here. Don't make it impossible.
Massacre, you are never
You
fair on
support.
this
You support.
platform.
No, don't deviate from the. Don't deviate from
are
the discussion.
never fair.
We
When
you support the
so
so we want you. No, we want you as a strong supporter of the CDC to tell us if you guys are capable enough to handle the security for the upcoming election. We're not going about what the minister thinks.
We are
We're talking about security.
We
security.
are fully capable to.
Okay, then discuss security. You've been there too, so you're not somebody who you've been there.
We are fully prepared to protect Mama Liberia.
The minister is listening. The minister is listening. Go ahead.
Is protected, right? We have the army there. You've been there before. So what's the problem that going on in Liberia? Now the security in Liberia is okay. There is no war fighting. There is no violence in the country. Nobody firing people in their head. But election is coming. That's when the oppositions are pressing on security. I listened to the minister here, the former minister. The minister said when CDC win the election, there will be trouble. There will be trouble.
No, he didn't say that.
What he said? Because I got it recorded already. What he said? Tell me what he said if I lie.
No, he didn't say when
Put
they
me
win.
on my
Alfred, can you?
Now, what he said?
Alfred, on me yourself, please correct her for me.
What the minister said? There will be trouble when CDC win the election, which means CDC.
No, that's not what he said.
What did he say?
The minister is right here. If I can repeat the minister he said there is a constitutional crisis that is hanging over our election.
And when the president
hold on. He said there is a constitutional
we don't have
crisis
to argue that.
over our election.
The minister did not say that.
And I'm not going to talk
as an individual,
because I don't think I'm protected. And when I'm not protected, I'm not free to talk either.
No, he was correct.
I want to give you the clarity. I want to give you the clarity. Then you go ahead and talk. Okay, Mr. Minister, can you repeat yourself?
No, he don't need to repeat himself because I got it.
No, I asked. No, but that's wrong. He didn't say when we are.
No, we are here to correct each other. If you misinterpreting the minister is here to provide clarity.
Gentlemen, can we just give our time? Let's just speak. Let's just speak our mind.
Let the two people gang on me, and Massacre is not protecting me. But when I'm talking, when Konowa talking, he will be shouting my name until the whole internet know my name. Mercy, until he shot me down.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not interrupting you. I asked Konowa to correct what you said.
Let me tell you right
now. But going too long, that's why I got in. I'm not cutting you off.
Let me tell you what's unfolding right now. You guys talking on security, right? And I'm here to tell you that the security in Liberia is up to the task to protect Mama Liberia in terms of election, in terms of anything that will come up. And the minister spoke of what conflict he talked about. You call that English word again. I go to school.
Constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis. That constitutional crisis he spoke about. When the president wins, there will be a constitutional crisis. That's why when he was saying there, asking, even when this president wins on the perfect side, no fair play, and which of course I know there will be no fair play in winning the election. There will still be constitutional crisis. And the minister did not answer that my question. And the minister said the people of Liberia, they are crying. Crying on what, Mr. Minister?
They're hungry.
Honorable man, what are they crying about? Because all I see is the people loving their
just
president.
Speak, you will respond. Speak, you will respond.
When I'm speaking, I will still be asking my questions in my speaking. The minister will answer me. That, guys, I talk loud because I grew out the sea. When I'm talking, don't mind my loud talking. I'm never angry when I'm talking. I'm not even angry. But I'm saying this. He said, I'm from very loud. He said there will be constitutional crisis. The people of Liberia, they are bleeding, they are crying. Mr. Minister, all I see the Liberian people doing, they are happy with their president. That's all I see the Liberian people doing. Only the oppositions are crying. Only a few handful of people are crying. And those few handful of people belong to a certain group. And that group is called the divided oppositions. The ANC, the UP, you just name them. Security-wise, we are fully prepared. The men, the gallant women in arms, they are fully charged to protect Mama Liberia when it comes to the election that everybody panicking about. Right now, nobody panicking in Liberia. I'm robbing all over the place, shooting people in their heads in America. We're going out. We're scared to go out. But election time, that's when everybody panicking. And I understand the constitutional crisis. Something is not right about that particular word that the minister used here. And we are fully taking note on that, Mr. Minister. We are fully taking note on that word, constitutional
But
crisis.
you don't.
I'm
You are
done.
serious trouble.
Even though I'm not protected, but I'm done.
Thank you.
I'm never
Thank
protected
you.
on the platform, but I'm done.
Who protect you?
Okay, all the time you not protect that again, man.
I'm done.
All the time she still says you protect. Gabriel, you beat him and they are not protect that. You know. But anyway, thank you, Honorable. You can. Honorable, you can respond to the Iron Lady because you know that the two
Yeah,
opposing
the
rival here,
iron,
you know, she can
the iron lady, like after
defend the
said, she, the woman is their little late. You know, is a selling deal. But I mean, on a serious note, Mercy and others,
I'm going to call her and Costa for you.
they try to jeopardize the interests of a state. I've given the complete different instances where I feel that if this government, through George Weah, President George Weah, does not put in the mechanism to provide security for all presidential candidates that I have not seen in any of the elections. But this election, presidential elections, if that doesn't happen, that's a problem. And we don't have time to go back and forth with seditions. The citizens will move into action. You don't have to mince your words about that. They are tired themselves. United Party will not move in action. The citizens will move in action. Because the matter of fact, you still have an elections commission, like Gabriel said. Why are you still doing with the lady at elections commission? She should be fired and replaced. That you are the only person who have that authority. That has not been done. The last time I checked in Lofa, opposition rights were violated. The last time I checked in Grand Giah, when oppositions went for visits, I don't know how many of you monitor that stuff with Yeke and other people. Their rights were violated. The last time I checked in Grand Barsi, when Yomri Kangan and other people, only because the place is a Liberty Party influenced terrain, it is difficult for them to get their way through the security because the security themselves are afraid. Because at the end of the day, if you misbehave, the people who give you authority will leave, but you're going to still be there with the people to work with them. It is hard times that Mercy and order tell those that is support the truth. The security system is messed up. Unlike before, that our security system could provide, the Justice Minister will provide security for all and aspirants, contestants. It is not happening now. And if that doesn't happen, and we know that there's insecurity for our presidential candidate, Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai, the most influential candidate currently in the race, the man who carries the magnet votes from the Liberian people. If there's insecurity for him, the Liberian people themselves will move into actions. We will protect the ballots. We will protect our votes. We will be in all the loops and corners of the country. We will be in the various counties. We will be way in Bazinga where I'm from. We will be in Bijo town. Our people will be resident in these places. If the government dare venture with the interests of the state and not democratically going to the elections for them to get whipped.
Not so well.
But where it is the other way around, our people will democratically protest. That's the interpretation of what I said.
Your market is not sold well. Your rules are not.
Gentlemen.
Are not what
and that's okay.
That just get it humble chance to do a concluding statement so we can go. Because we've been here almost 3 hours now.
I say thank you. So we want to say thank you to our Honorable Minister, Honorable Rixck W. He was here today. We had a very fascinating discussions, and he defended the Unity Party. He expressed to the Liberian people what is the intent of the United Party moving forward in the 2023 elections. And I want to say thank you to our great panelists here today for coming on. It was a very interactive discussion. We had the minister responding. We have our callers. I want to say thank you also to our callers and our viewers and all of our supporters on the Diaspora Talk. This is one of the biggest platforms. We have callers from all over the world. We have our panelists also from all over the world. And I want to thank everybody for being here today. Honorable Minister, we look forward to seeing you in the future as the elections and the campaign gets heated.
I
And
will always be available. Okay.
I will always call on you to get your insight on, what's unfolding and how best we can make Mama Liberia a better place, because this is our home, this is our country, this is where we all come from, and we want the best for that country. At this point, we'll ask you to give your parting statement as we conclude the discussions for today.
Yeah,
Thank you
for the invite. And to be sincere, currently I'm in Ohio. I came for the July 26th celebration that was slated for yesterday, and I was the orator. So I flew in, and the occasion was last night, and I have to wake up this morning to meet up with the demand of the Liberian people through your invite, and I'd appreciate that. Thanks to Gabriel for the cordiality, and the chairman who left. I think he's a strong man. He tried his best to do what he can do. Everybody can be on the same side, and I respect that. Alfred, thanks very much for the support you gave to JMB. My understanding, you used to be somebody who believed in President George Weah, but he let your guts down. A lot like many Liberians. I think the same. Mercy, thanks for coming in last minute of time. I heard you are strong in how you express yourself and your love for CDC. I used to be like you before with a lot of energy, and sometimes the way I come out. But when it is an interest of Liberia, it's all about the composure. We believe in the country's and the people's interest. In my closing, I would still like to mention that Joseph Yumabwaka is Liberia's next president. Jeremiah Kung is Liberia's next vice president and will be presiding over the Liberian Senate. We are ready. Our gloves are off, boots are out. It's been quite a while. I haven't been involved into politics and just been relaxing in my corner, but to honor your invite to tell you that we already with our boots, even in bed, our Timberland boots are on our feet, our gloves are off, ready to do those things necessary in the interest of the Liberian people. Some people mentioned Costa Arrest, other people, when we were actively into politics in 2005, these were boys. So getting on talk show, maneuvering your way into manipulating people, into getting involved, into giving you the relevance you want, we back on our feet, and we will defend the Unity Party to the core. I'm a member of the Unity Party, and I respect the decision of the Unity Party and whatever candidate they have decided to carry. I will support all the Unity Party candidates. Victory is certain for us. Come October 10th, on this same platform, Alfred and I, and all Unity Party, Malekte be here celebrating.
Amanda!
Viva to the Unity Party.
Viva, viva, Joseph Boakai, viva.
Viva. Have a blessed day. I hope we meet again. Thank you so much for the invite, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Honorable.
So
we
much.
look forward to seeing you in the
Thank you.
future. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you for being on the Diaspora Talk. We go to you, Gabriel, for your partner statement. Honorable, you can leave if you want to. Right now, we're just wrapping up. But thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you in the future. Thank you.
Well,
Gabriel,
I think, yes, my unbiased view is that, he came out very strong and he ably represented his party. And one thing I know about this guy is that it seems to be that, they are politically insightful, they are politically inclined, I've been knowing these guys. I was born around that bus up there, so that Barsi Giah town. I know these guys. So when I heard you saying that we are inviting him, I knew that it was going to be a very fascinating show. But the only player my only reservation is that they don't do everything to working check line with Aaron Costa, because there's not man you can actually try to trivialize his influence in the country. Right now, he might not be supporting Joseph Boakai. The masses might not be supporting him because they need Joseph Boakai to win in order to unseat George Weah. But don't get it wrong, this man and Joseph Boakai has been running things for a very long time. You don't know what it discuss. You don't know why he has in his Carrington. You don't know just one revelation about Joseph Boakai can turn the whole country against him. So you don't come by and challenge. Look, this guy has history. The George Weah you see sitting down over there, most of the dark things that came out of, their cover and got revealed to the Liberian people that made the whole make the whole country resentful of the CDC today. Most of the things were from Costa. Today, when Eddie Johnson said he worked, nobody want to see her. Nobody. How can you become the president of Liberia and you are not like a role model? No child want to be like you. No party want to affiliate with you. As soon as, people will be asking their candidate, Eddie Johnson not behind you, because when Eddie Johnson behind you, I will not support you. How can you become a former president and you don't have any affiliate because of the way Costa and other political activists painted her black? So, gentlemen, it's not time to raise emotion and cause more problem for, the papi. Myself want change. The way the country is going now, nobody want to see George Weah being elected for the second term. Myself want change.
No, what?
But George Weah cannot be a president for the second time. Everybody, he knows that. He knows that. And lastly, I would like to say, gentlemen, I think the opposition should be very, very much careful. Terry Edward Brown Lasana, right now, she almost like her hands are in the hands of her hands are in the mouth of CDC. This is a woman that had a dark cloud hanging over her. She was caught red-handed for conflict of interest. The people can prosecute her about that. The people can either send her to jail, and that can be used to blackmail her. If you don't get all the election, we'll put you in jail. That's how risky it is for the opposition. That woman might be fighting for her life. She don't want to go to jail. She don't want to lose her job. You know that if Giah win for the second time, she might likely retain her job. Okay, she'll retain her job because it is I don't know how training position. But if we have a good government, she'll have to recuse herself and go answer to some of those things. She'll have to recuse herself. So if she doesn't want that to happen to her, she will just want the government to be to be by in power so she can just retain herself. So, gentlemen, I would like to say it was a very fascinating discussion. Thank you so much, and thank our guests for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. That was Gabriel Massacre right there from the Asia Belt. We want to say thank you, Gabriel, for your input on our discussion today. We go to our brother Alfred Konowa. He's the Vice President-elect of the Liberian Association of Waterloo and Cedar Falls in the state of Iowa. Go ahead, Alfred. Give your parting statement.
The former CDC, man, don't forget to mention that, bro.
I have a natural love for George Weah. Let me say that, but when it comes to the politics, no, him and myself, we not together when it comes to the politics. He feel me, yeah. So let's keep it on the political level.
The milk game we provide on that one.
Today's edition of our Diaspora Talk was fascinating to have one of the firemen, Barsi Giah, Rixck W. This is someone who I used to admire when the guys were in the trenches. He was one of the big boys. When we were doing student activism. and so I admire a whole lot here, brother. But I'd like to say this: we have to be serious about this election because all of us here we have a role to play in the fall march of our country. And one of the ways to do it is to come on this blue app to conscientize our people as to the way to go. And I think the way to go now is the rescue train. That is the way to go. No doubt in my mind that there will be a tsunamic transformation when Joseph Boaga is elected. Evident by the kind of structure that is being put in place. If you look at the campaign team, the individuals that are on the campaign team, if you look at the individuals that are being appointed, to this campaign, it tells me that there are people who will come and go into government and make sure that the institutions will start to work again. It will not be based on party line. If you have people like John Malu who are coming back to ensure that we audit, there will be a very forensic audit on this George Weah-led government. I can promise you. I can promise you. After October 10, there will be a serious, robust forensic audit on this government. And those guys that have siphoned the Liberian people money, they can be rest assured that we will come for them. We have to change this. People come to government and just see and go scot-free and nothing happens to them. We have lived in that for 175 years. We cannot continue this. Our young children need to have a future. We need to have a system in place that can be trusted. We need to have a system in place that people can believe in. We don't need to have a system where a president will get there and remove a sitting chief justice. We don't need to have a system where the chief justice of the country become adamant and bobo. He can speak on national issues. He can disagree with the president when certain things are going on. We don't need to have a system where the people that are being appointed by the president, they can just do anything they want to do. We don't need to have a system where you have a city mayor will threaten other senior government officials. We don't need to have a system like that. And that is the reason why we are emphasizing our people that the way to go is the JB way to go. If we want to have a good future for our country, Mr. President Weah has failed us and he needs to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We have our Iron Lady, that's Mercy Tutu Brown. She's a former personnel of the Armed Forces of Liberia, the Iron Lady of the Diaspora Talk, strong and very supportive of the ruling establishment of the CDC, President George Weah. Mercy Tutu Brown, you have the floor. Go ahead.
I just want to tell the Liberian people they know better.
Okay.
The Liberian people know what they want. Nobody going to tell them what to choose. If anybody sitting under my voice thinking that the Liberian people don't like President George Weah, you better change your mind because you are not in the minds of the other. I stand with President Weah today and forever because I believe in his potentials. President Weah going to win the election flat. Even people come from the international community tomorrow to be on the board. When he wins, there will still be trouble from the opposition. A former minister sat here and said there will be a constitutional crisis. I know it will take place, but you better believe it because he's going to win the election. If you're thinking that he don't have the momentum to win, I want you to understand today that President Weah is overqualified. His country loves him. The people that make the country loves him. And Joseph Boakai, who people are hailing, if Costa can demand Joseph Boakai today, it shows a clear signal to the Republic of Liberia and to the Liberian people. Joseph Boakai cannot spark. He cannot spark into this election. Mind you, we have Alexander Cummings beside Joseph Boakai coming. You guys are not even mentioning his name. Who knows? Joseph Barker cannot deliver what the Liberian people get. He does not have what it takes. He might be educated. He served for 40 plus years. What did he do? What have he contributed to his people? People want to come here and be mean to George Weah, but nobody sees what happened. After he served all those years and he's coming to be president now, what does this guy have to bring to the table? Bunch of greedy people under him, pushing him. They're going to be a heartbreak. They're going to be heart attacks. They're going to be frustrations when George Weah wins this election. Let's watch October 10th, 2023. The masses have spoken, and so be it. Whether you like it or not, only oppositions don't like it. I know the people of Liberia love their president, and they are taking him to the throne again.
Thank you. That was our sister Mercy Tutu Bro. That's the Iron Lady of the Diaspora Talk. But to conclude, I'm the man Abraham T. Massacre, the CEO of the Diaspora Talk. I want to thank my panelists, the chairman Abraham Lincoln McGee, our panelists, Christina Folder, Victoria, and Kadme Fangalo, and the advisor, the rest of the crew. This is a big team. We can't have everybody on every Sunday. Our SG Melvin, who is out today. But I want to say thank you to all of you guys for your support. And it was a fascinating discussion. We had our guests, my brother Rixck Barsi. I know I'll be in Indiana soon, so we can try to knock those cigars and, discuss some political issues. But it was great. He was very good at defending his party and explaining to the Liberian people why it's important that we have a change. He served as Deputy Minister for Technical Affairs at the Ministry of Information. And we had a very great discussion today. On the Diaspora Talk, I want to say thank you to our viewers, all of you that made your comments and call in and watch the show. It's important that Liberia is all that we have. That's the only country we cannot be deported from. No matter where you live around the world, it's important that we always want the best for our country. And this is what the Diaspora Talk is all about. We are here to talk about ills in society and discuss these issues that can better off our country, whether the ruling establishment or the opposition. And we also discuss social issues on how we can develop and promote the betterment of our people. On this note, I want to say thank you to Gabriel Massacre, who was here as one of our panelists, Abraham Michael Lincoln, my brother Alfred Konowa, and the Iron Lady herself, Mercy Tutu Bro. It was a fascinating show today, and I want to say thank you to all of our viewers and our supporters on the Diaspora Talk. Mama Liberia is all we have, and let's keep making it better by giving our inputs and our views. Until we see next Sunday, this is the Diaspora Talk. Next Sunday, we'll be here same time and discussing the issues. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. See you next week, Sunday. Okay.
Joanna do anything for me. Joanna take me go Paris. Joanna give me everything, baby. Joanna do anything for me. Joanna take me go Paris. Joanna give me everything, baby. And when you put up in a rover, girl, you are sent by Giah, making me shout hallelujah.